Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the TheRantCastPodcast, episode 93. We are live. I know we're a little bit early, but I want to get started here. I'm a little too giddy. I'm ready to get going. So we'll go ahead and get started here. And let me go ahead and clear some things out. Yeah, welcome to the Rantcast Podcast. My name is Joshua. I'm also known as TheStrangeBus. And you can find me at twitch.tv/TheStrangeBus. That's twitch.tv/TheStrangeBus. I'm also on YouTube. That's StrangeBus on YouTube as well, if you'd like to check out my previous streams and or archives. I am also joined by my other host, the greatest host, and that's Kurgan, also known as HeroQuest Fans, and you can find him at twitch.tv/HeroQuest Fans. That's twitch.tv/HeroQuest Fans. Also on YouTube, that's XSC3, home of HeroQuest Fans. And you are on right now, Kurgan. Go ahead whenever you're ready. Just to credit everything here before we get started, the music you're hearing is brought to you by Suno.com. If you'd like to try out your own music, you don't have the money and or resources to produce music yourself, and you'd like to give AI a try, you can go to Suno.com on your phone or device of your choosing, and go ahead and give it a try. We got a couple great topics for you guys tonight. I hope you're ready, because we've got a great power hour to make up for the lack of one last episode.
Sorry about that. Yeah, lost all our subs.
Possible Kathleen Kennedy stepping down again. We're hearing rumors. So more Star Wars talk.
Yeah.
More Star Wars talk, which is going to be great. I love talking about Star Wars. It's my favorite topic. Just some more shooting the shit as well. We're going to do another segment I like to do after the power hour for introducing a new product, really anything. I talked to Kurgan about this, so I'd like to see what the audience thinks. It's going to be called Quality Control. It's where we compare the current product being released to equal or relative product of something that came before it or of its re-release. So we still want to hold companies accountable for what they're releasing, and that's including Avalon Hill and Hasbro in this case with the new expansion. So we'll do the power hour, then we'll talk about quality control for the current product. We'll do Star Wars, and then we will go ahead and roll with a topic on actors. And unfortunately, we're going to be talking about the career of one of my favorite action heroes, Bruce Willis. But before we get started, I'm going to go ahead and we'll go ahead and kind of bring it together here. Kurgan, how you doing today?
I'm hanging in there. How about yourself?
That's about all we can say on that one, is hanging in there. I could say for sure that the weather has been definitely kicking my ass. We've had a lot of highs and a lot of lows, and we haven't had any steady weather. So I can't say that I'm not appreciative of the nicer weather we've been having, but it has caused a wreck on my older body because my sinuses can't keep up. And then I get that like old man thing where like your knees hurt before it rains. It's like I got magical powers now. Like my knees will start to hurt. I'm like, it's gonna rain.
Your arthritis is acting up right before the meteorological change. Something's happening.
It's happening. It's happening. It's even if it's just a drizzle, I start to feel it now. It's like, oh, my knees are aching. It's either gonna rain or it's gonna snow, something. So I haven't figured it out quite yet, but I do know I have that that inner calling where your bones ache. So it happens a lot when I'm traveling. My knees are just constantly aching. So I know that's gonna be a problem for me later on in the future, definitely. But yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to work on like some more self-improvement stuff. Like this year, I want to, like I said, try to stay more positive about things. I know we kind of live in like a negative world, so
get the click.
Yes, or just in general. But I have had this tinfoil hat mindset for a very long time. So even though I still kind of have it where I don't particularly like certain big companies or I distrust a lot of things, like I said, I got a lot of great advice from good people about how you can't hate everything as much as you want to try. And as much as I don't like Star Wars right now, there's good Star Wars that I can hold on to. I'm still going to give it a try. There's still a series that I want to watch, even if it's supported by Disney, because regardless whether I like Disney or not, I have it. My kids enjoy it. My wife enjoys it. I can't really ruin their experiences. And at the end of the day, Star Wars has made me happy for so long. I can explain my discomfort for that or for something else that I don't like, and I'm still going to vote with my wallet, but I still want to have something. So there's some things I'm just going to hold on to, and I'm just going to say fuck it to the rest of it, right? And that's kind of what I was told, was like, pick the things that you like the most. You don't have to be subscribed to everything. You don't have to buy everything. Pick the things you like the most, hold on to those, and then just fuck the rest of it. And that's kind of what I'm doing right now. So, like I said, Star Wars has kind of been a big outlook in my life, and that and of course my religion. But I mean, as far as pop culture goes, that's what I hold on to. So it's going to be hard. Hopefully, we have some good Star Wars stuff coming out soon. I've heard we have a game. We talked about it. We have a game coming out. We have more cool stuff being released. Whether or not that gets released on actual hardware, if it goes to streaming services, I'm going to be there for it. I'm going to be there to give you guys a review on it. I might actually start turning my streaming channel into more of a review-based channel, which I know that's been overdone, but something where we can actually dive deep into like a consumer advocacy kind of department for people who are really looking for an actual in-depth review, like frame testing, doing stuff that we can actually get involved with, having people interact with the community. That way it's not just me playing games and going, oh, this is great. Like, we want real, like, actual stuff. So, but it's something that I want to be able to enjoy and be part with the community. So I don't know why my window's flickering like that. We were getting some flickering issues, but I'm going to just chalk it up to Linux at this point. So it might be trying to switch windows. Maybe if I keep my mouse in here, we don't get it. Let's see. Yeah, hold on. We still getting that flickering when it goes away? It might be, yeah, it might be my mouse. Okay, we'll see if that works. But besides that, I know you're hanging in there. Has there been anything besides HeroQuest that we've been looking forward to or wanting to get in as far as media or TV or...
I mean, Lord of the Rings is back in theaters for the 25th anniversary. We talked about that a bit.
Yeah, we did.
There's this big question about, like, are theaters on their last legs? Like, is this the end? Like, have these companies lost too much money to streaming and the fact that movie tickets are too expensive and all the usual stuff that we've been hearing? I mean, I've been hearing that since the 90s. Oh, theaters are going away. Theaters are dying. But they're really having a hard time now, is what I'm hearing.
They are. There actually has been a couple of commercials for movie theaters recently that I saw, which is nice. I think that's... Oh, that's yeah, I know, I am. Hold on, let me see if I can fix... I'm going to try to fix this a little bit.
Well, you can always rent out these theaters. They're always advertising. Yeah, you know, get your next church function, your next business function, you know, have a party. Yeah, they got the fancy recliners and everything. But, I mean... I enjoy the theater experience, but it is a luxury thing most of the time. You know, you like to go out and do something.
I think if we went,
it goes away completely.
I think if we went back to the popcorn movie theater aesthetic,
yeah,
it probably wouldn't be as bad.
The cheapo, yeah, because you're right. They spend so much money on those recliners and the IMAX screens and the Dolby.
Well, they don't now anymore. I mean, maybe they do. Maybe they still have to pay for licensing. I think this just doesn't like the full screen. I'm gonna keep the full screen So if anybody mentions the flickering, it's probably just has to do with OBS, and I don't. I probably need to diagnose it, and I just haven't had time. So I'll go ahead and keep it for now. If it gets really bad, we'll kick it out of full screen. But for now, it's just a little bit of flickering at the top. I'm not too worried about it, as long as we saw a picture. Yeah. This is what comes with me hosting like once. I really need to get back into doing it more. So I apologize for the lack of quality control, guys. But yeah, I mean, if you're listening to this on Spotify or YouTube or whatever, you don't really have to worry about it. But yeah, it's perfect.
What are you talking about? Why is
the audio is perfect?
I don't get it.
I mean, maybe I'll tone myself down a little bit, but I think as of right now, I should be okay. I want to make sure that I'm not too loud, or that Kurgan isn't too loud. But I think we're doing okay for now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think as far as movie theaters go, I think yes, they are a dying breed. I think eventually we're gonna have a lot fewer of them. I don't think they're gonna go away permanently. I did have that fear for the longest time, because Netflix is still buying WB, right? I think they just moved over to a cash offer, like a full cash offer, to try to compete with the Paramount thing. And then Disney bought didn't they buy like a whole bunch of crap too with they bought a lot of other TV companies, and they own ESPN and shit like that. So like every big streaming service or big corporate conglomerate right now in the entertainment industry is buying up multimedia companies that used to be affiliated with TV.
Which means the criticism of those companies also goes away.
Well, yeah, but like it also now goes to places like Disney and fucking Amazon and stuff like that. But I also have to give it to Malwhip for bringing this up in our Discord. Yep. Was that change is coming? Change is a coming. You
talk about the tinfoil hat. I mean, his tinfoil is like at least 3 more layers than yours. But he does have a point.
At the same time, like we are getting older. I'm getting older. I don't always look at those things that way. I'm thinking, oh shit, my life, everything that I've ever seen is now like flashing before my eyes, and like we're doomed. We're going into this complacency, like nonsense bullshit. But like if you think about it from somebody who's 15 years younger than you, like they're probably just streaming if they're looking at anything. They're doing what I did at 19. Like I just watched Netflix. I didn't watch TV barely anymore. And like I'm more thinking about shit when I was like 8. Like so like streaming services are owned by different companies now. We're moving into a time when it's no longer viable for these companies to stay in business alone. So they're looking for a way to merge, stay profitable, or keep themselves going, which I don't particularly like it. And when that happens, yes, movie theaters are going to be movies are going to be way more expensive. They're not going to last as long, but I don't think certain companies want those to go away completely. They may want them to be reduced, or they want to make it so that people can, I guess, make their money, like more with digital. But it's not like the 80s or 90s where you would have movies in theaters for like months.
Right.
And like that's the sad part is like a movie theater was an interactive experience, and that's the thing that I'm going to miss the most. And that's the thing that I think people will benefit less from, because it is beneficial. Like teenagers used to go to the movie theater. I used to go to the movie theater with my girlfriend at that time to go see movies. We used to see movies all the time, like all the way into like 2015. Like that was a thing. Like you used to go and see movies, even if they were shitty.
That's the date.
Like,
that's the date.
That is a constant tradition that's been a thing since like entertainment was around. It was go see a feature film, and you're telling people to adapt to something that has been a thing since their grandparents were kids.
The group experience. You're right. I mean, comedies are not the same when you're just watching it by yourself or just with one other person. Like when you've got a theater full of people that are laughing together or groaning.
Yeah.
Horror movies, people are screaming, jumping up in their seats. Like it's a totally different experience. It's like going to it's like watching wrestling on TV versus like being at a show. Like you get into it because everybody around you is like freaking out. So yeah, that gets lost. I guess you could gather a bunch of friends in your house and do that, but how many people do that?
Right.
You know? Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
what
The
I'm
communal
agreeing
experience.
with is it's hard because um, we have people bring up really good points, but it is a communal experience. It is a experience for people to get out there because to me not everything should be online. It's harder to build something online or for people to interact more. I mean, you still get a person experience. I feel, but like people bond a lot more in person, like your
Have you
friends, your family. But like when you're all sitting there in opposite rooms on the, it reminds me of what was it? RV. Did you ever see the movie RV with Robin
no,
Williams? There was like a
no.
scene in RV, and this was like 2007, so this like really told you something. But there's like a scene in RV where they're all on laptops, like because this was before the big smartphones. But like they had like a PA system in each room, and they were all on laptops, and the PA system ring, and the wife would go, "Dinner's ready," and everybody would start to get up and move towards dinner. But they would be in different rooms. Like the husband was working, and the wife was busy doing other stuff. She'd look at like her laptop or she had like a PDA or some crap, and then, like
Yep.
the kids were like on their iPods or some shit, and like it was one of those things where like everybody was separated, and
So it's funny because
granted
how weird it was, but
because of
how
how
it's real.
distanced everybody, and that was the whole point of Robin Williams renting the RV and taking everybody outside. But
Mm.
the big point was like we are separate. We're more separating each other, and I think that's the big thing that hits me the most is the fact that we're phasing out uh, more gathering stuff, and even our parents are worried about stuff like that. Like my parents were worried about that. Like camping was starting to kind of phase out a little bit more. It's for people who just really wanted to get out there and be nature goers. It was not a common
I like that.
experience like it used to be, and I was never a big fan of camping. I mean, that was never just my thing to be out in the big outdoors all the time. But I always feel that everybody, unless you like have a condition, no offense, I feel like everybody has a something innate to where they want to bond with somebody, be with somebody, even if you're antisocial. Like you still, like you don't
Still
want
need
to talk
people.
to somebody all the time, but your friends, your family, like being away from somebody for consistent amounts of time, like months on end, can be damaging to you. It's like being in solitary confinement. Like if you don't get
Mhm.
some form of interaction,
You're
you
gonna
are
go nuts.
hurting yourself.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that's kind of the thing. Like, and I know we interact online. Once again, you are still missing core elements. Um, so hopefully we find ways to adapt in an ever-changing technological landscape because it is ever-changing. I personally feel like we are, like I am, because I can use AI responsibly. I can get out there and I can still think for myself, even though I put something into AI. Like I did like a fake screenplay the other day just for fun, but I made all the changes myself. And I
Hmm.
wrote the baseline. I did something fun for my bus porter thing that I was just being. It was just for fun, just for shits and giggles. None of this stuff I asked for money
Yeah.
for. It was just for fun.
That's
Um,
hilarious.
but that's the whole point was getting out there, doing something fun, and then interacting with people on it and saying. I also do a little segment with friends that I call real or AI, which I have pictures that I have facial scanned and then thrown into an AI thing and then manually blended myself. So they're almost
Wow.
real. Like you can't tell. And I have fooled everybody I've ever met. They've at least gotten two wrong,
Wow.
two or more. So it
Scary.
is, yes, it's very scary. But if you let AI do all the work, it doesn't work. So I mean, like I've never tried Grok or Gemini for like video or um, its picture stuff, but I have seen its work, and I can tell you it's still not accurate. So I guess if we keep this non-accurate error percentage, maybe it'll be fine. But I feel like that's the reason we're
Fine.
expanding the AI bubble
Yeah.
is we want this stuff to be accurate so people can write their screenplays or they can do their funny stuff, because that's what Sora is about. Is if you write stuff like you're commanding it to do stuff, it's less accurate. But I've also written a full-on screenplay and thrown it into Sora to only write a quarter of it, and it still didn't get it right. It got my face wrong. It got people's faces wrong. It didn't even do half the shit I asked it to do. I don't know. It's a mess at times because I think it's under heavy load, and I think that's a big issue. Is that a lot of people are using it and they want people to be able to use it efficiently. So I don't know. I just, it's another thing I don't think we're fully ready for either. Yeah. Just like I don't think we were fully ready for the internet at one point in time. I don't think we're fully ready for accurate text to video AI. I think things like the Dolly experience, where it was text to video and it looked like an amorphous blob, like it didn't completely get anything accurate, or you got the Will Smith eating spaghetti and he looked half human. Like that was just funny. Yeah. So,
it's the uncanny valley effect. It's like, okay, it just looks wrong. Well, I've told various AI platforms that I use to recreate HeroQuest, like what it looks like for somebody to be sitting down playing the board game, and it can never get it right. It's like it doesn't know what HeroQuest is, so it just gives you like some generic game that doesn't quite make sense.
Mm-hmm.
But someday, just get the right person in there and be like, okay, this is what HeroQuest is, and you can actually do it, and you can actually look at it, and it actually might be real. Like this would work in a game.
Right.
I think about like movies back in the day, like, people spot movie mistakes, and it's like there'll be a chess set that's set up in a movie, like in the background of a scene, and it's like, oh, that's wrong because they set up the pieces wrong, like the queen's not on the right color, or they've rearranged something. But it's like that's the kind of stuff that, like, if you're an expert in some area, you can detect the mistakes. But yeah,
right.
I feel sorry for anybody who actually does have 6 fingers on one hand. It's like no one's gonna believe you're real. Like, no, I really do. This is what my hand looks like. Or if you got fuzzy teeth, like, no, my teeth really are fuzzy.
So, as far as our Power Hour goes,
oh yes,
we are talking Wizards of Morcar.
That's right.
So, Kurgan, I have one question.
Yeah.
Is it good?
Yes, it is. It does have a few flaws, but I think they have done a great job, a bang-up job. I haven't run it yet, but I've looked at it in exhausting detail, and several other people have as well. And we found little mistakes, little tweaks that could be, added. So there is a question about quality control, like should they have run another few more passes through the editing stage to catch those issues? But similar to, still got this nagging cough. Similar to Crypt of Perpetual Darkness, there's a few things that mostly only affect Zargon. So when you're running a campaign, like your hero players are not even going to notice. Like you're going to stutter for a second because they put the, period too close to the comma or whatever, but otherwise it's going to be fine. So the stuff that's in there that's wrong is very, very minor. Now, in this one, they did nerf the dragon by mistake. They gave him like stats that were like really weak. But in this one, we haven't seen anything like that. They have toned it down a little bit from the original version, but they've added so much extra stuff that it all kind of balances out. Because you could just play 5 really, really hard quests, or you could play 10, fairly challenging quests. Kind of spread the difficulty out, which is, I think, what people want. You want to have the ability to have a nice campaign. Although, for a lot of people, it's like, I don't even know how they find the time to play these games. Like, unless you're a professional like me, I mean, even then, it's like it takes you like 7 months to get through like one of these campaigns because you're only playing a couple hours a weekend. Trying to run a show and everything, but
right,
it gives you plenty of value for your dollar, I would say. I mean, because they did raise the price. This
so
is $50.
because you do a show like every week, right? So If someone were to
Yeah.
play this casually with their friends, like let's say like they did one, like maybe a quest a night, or like a dungeon a night, maybe. Would that make if
Mhm.
that seems more reasonable? How long do you think the game completion would be?
I mean, you could get through it in a month for sure, but if you were playing every day, that's like 10 days, like 2 hours a night,
Hmm.
10 nights, you'd get through it. Yeah.
Okay, so, and the price for this one was what exactly?
This was $50. So the other so notice the size difference. So this is the Crypt of Perpetual Darkness. This is 10 quests. This was Joe Manganiello's masterpiece.
Yeah,
And this one is,
holographic.
yeah, it's holographic. It's fancy. This one is 35, or sorry, 34. This is $34.
Okay.
This is 50. Now, the size of this box, so they've always had the two sizes of expansions. These have tended to be like $25 to $35, and these have been $45. But they raised the price, and a lot of people are thinking, oh, it's because of the tariffs or whatever. You know, judge for yourself, right? So, but I mean, the quality seems about the same. They keep going back and forth on the finish of the boxes. So some of the boxes have like a really fine texture, like linen finish, like the cards.
Hmm.
This one's smooth because it's the holographic, but I mean the quality seems the same. Slides off. I've already done the unboxing, but I mean you got the cards here, and to compare the quality. So this is from 2021, and I noticed some quality control issues with the Mythic set. So this is from the Mythic set. So this is not the new one.
Okay.
Quality as far as like the thickness, it's really, no, they seem the same. This feels heavier, but I mean the thickness is the same on these tiles. And they've got the same like linen finish on them. So for 2021 to 2026 or 2025, pretty consistent, I would say. So this is Mage of the Mirror. So this was 2023. Yeah, it's pretty consistent.
So, is it? You're probably gonna say probably the same cardboard.
Yeah, so they must be
Okay.
using the same kind of stock, the same kind of printers, same standards. So that's good to know. And they keep changing things around. So like in this box, like in some of the other boxes, like they really crammed it in there. Like they had a piece of tissue paper or a piece of cardboard to kind of pad it out. But here they just kind of tossed it in there. But I mean, I don't see any like creases or damage.
Could be because there's a lot of stuff in there. Maybe they don't need the packing material.
Yeah, don't need to. And the booklet, so you compare it to Jungles of Delthrak. I mean, the booklet's a
So
little smaller.
we are maintaining a good consistency when we release these. Then
Yeah. I
nothing's
mean,
being cheaped out or skimped out.
No, I mean Jungles of Delthrak had 16 quests, but that's because you could have alternate paths.
Hmm.
Okay, this feels like really glossy. I feel like Jungles of Delthrak, they may have put a little bit more money into it. This feels a little cheaper. But I mean, the same basic level is there. I mean, it doesn't. This feels like amazing, and this is like pretty good. But it's not like, oh, this is trash.
They're still like staple books, right? They are held together by
Actually, no.
staples.
Actually, no. The originals were held together by staples, but these are actually stitched with thread.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
I know.
So
So it's like
nice quality
after
control.
30 years, you won't get rust spots on them like you would with the
Yeah.
original HeroQuest. Yeah,
Those are built to last then. Huh?
yeah. Now the only
So
problem with these booklets is if you're trying to like write on them with a pencil, it's kind of crappy because it's so glossy. But if you're a collector, you're not gonna write on this. You're gonna copy this, and then you're gonna write on the copy. But I mean, back in the day, we would write little notes in the margins. We'd scribble stuff on there.
probably use a pen. Be okay. Maybe a pen
Yeah,
or. Okay.
gel pen or whatever. Yeah.
Don't be
Some people only
discouraged
play it
from writing
one
on
time.
from using these though. Like collectors
You
collect,
love.
but like actually, if you love these things, actually love them. I mean, so many people collect and preserve, and that's great. like because we need that for like if this stuff ever just stops. But like they're these things are meant to be used.
Meant to be enjoyed, yeah.
Yeah.
So looking at these miniatures, I mean, I liked it because in the original we did get these mercenary figures. I mean, we've seen mercenaries now in several expansions, but they gave us different colors, which is
So
something to differentiate.
that's something I notice a lot is the figure quality changes depending on the expansion.
Yeah. So let's
So
compare. This is Crossbowman from the Frozen Horror. So that was 2022.
okay,
And let's compare that to 2026.
same price for these.
Yep.
Okay.
Actually, let's make it okay. So the gray ones, it's a little hard to tell on my camera because it's not HD, but the level of detail has not gone down. They're still just as bendy as they were, so durable. But they weren't content just to keep the same sculpt. They made sure that they gave it a different look. There you can see it a little better.
Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah. So, and if you wanted to paint these, of course, I mean, you can. Clean it with soap and water, put some primer on there. We've seen lots of examples on the HeroQuest fans Discord. Now, if you want to see what the original figures look like, going back to the 90s, so 1992, this is what a crossbowman looked like. Oops. I can get the piece. So I do have a vintage set, which was expensive, but a lot cheaper than some of the ones on eBay. So Board Game Geek, not sponsored, but I do recommend find a real fan on there who will sell it to you for like a good price because he knows you're not going to flip it. You're just going to actually play it. So that was the classic era mercenary. And it was cool because these weapons were detachable. So you could be like, oh, he doesn't have a crossbow. He's got, it's just like Warhammer. He's got a halberd. So you like that. That way they could get away with having fewer of these guys in the box and just have like a big pile of weapons that you could swap them out. But
nice.
The nice thing about the new set is, okay, you don't have interchangeable weapons, but you can have different sculpts. So you have a variety of different characters. So this is Frozen Horror once again, halberd. And then here's Wizards of Morcar. So basically they get all the ones that were women before are men now and vice versa. So you have like the equality of the sexes. You've got the matching pairs now. So you've got your swordsman from Frozen Horror and you got your swordswoman from Wizards of Morcar. So it's like
I mean, those are some pretty dope figures.
Like
so
yeah, and you can mix and match them from the different sets. Have a nice motley crew of different characters. The nice thing about this, I mean, I think about Ribby in his remarkable rims, his fan made. He gave us these, right? So that you can be like, oh yeah, the green one. That's the Wizards guy that he's carrying around. Like I really wish they'd put some of these in the box, but hit Ribby up for these. But still, I mean, giving us 3 different colors means that all 3 heroes could hire these mercenaries to help them out, and it'd be easier to tell at a glance. Oh yeah, the purple one, that's mine. Oh, you got the gray one, I got the red one. Or you could say, oh, one's a villain, one's, even if you haven't painted them, you could easily differentiate them. So I like that feature. They got the scouts. So let's compare. Here's the scout from Wizards of Morcar, the male version, and here's the female version from Frozen Horror. So similar style. They've got the same like shield artwork. So they could be from the same faction easily. Oh, my camera's so blurry tonight. Well, anyway, but I think the quality is still good, and I like the pointy swords. So my swordsman didn't look like this originally. They had, you can kind of see where it's a little burned there. So it looked like they were carrying a giant butter knife. Who's that guy from Final Fantasy with the big, huge sword, the gun
Cloud?
blade or whatever?
No more
Yeah.
Cloud?
it kind of looked like his weapon, and it's like I took a knife and I like cut the edges so it was actually pointy. But with the new set, they listened and they're like, yeah, pointy swords. That's what we need. You know, nice, pointy.
Oh, so you actually sharpened one of them.
Yep.
Okay.
Just to give it a little more.
Yeah, because that sword looked good. I was like, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you paint it, you won't even notice that, you know, it was cut with a knife. But I mean, it's fairly soft plastic, so it's pretty easy to work with. So this is the female wizard. So people were asking for the female wizard, and we didn't get the Wizard Quest pack. We're still waiting for Luca Posky and his project to release their full project. But in the meantime, we've got a female wizard, and even though this is a character that didn't exist in the original game, I mean, we just had the male wizard. The pose is taken directly from the classic wizard pose. So Doug Hopkins is still listening to the fans, still trying to, you know, weave that nostalgia into the game, even while they're giving us new stuff. So I like that a lot. And when we compare, let's see, we've got the Wizards of Morcar, so these new badass bosses that you'll be fighting, because that's all the original was. It was 5 quests. Each one you track one of these guys down to his lair and kill him, and you know he had extra powers and stuff. Because the magical bad guys were always the toughest ones in HeroQuest. Well, now they've expanded it, so there's 10 quests. So you're doing more stuff than just fighting these guys like one time each. Oh yeah, in the original you would fight each of them individually, then you fight them all together. So you had the classic video game boss rush thing, and it was very unbalanced, what people say. But now there's a new bad guy, so the Artificer. So this character brings statues to life and can enchant like mimics and stuff. So they've added a whole new set of characters that did not exist in the original. So here are the golems, and these guys are huge. So these guys did not exist in the original. They look kind of goofy, don't they?
They look good though.
Yeah, but yeah, you compare them to like a mercenary. It's like, oh, yep, that's a boss. And I love this pose because if this were 2021, like the sword would be coming out this far and the hand would be staying that way, but it's like, no, they just put it vertically, and now it doesn't take up a ton of room on the board. I think it's a great idea. And so you got the male and the female statues, which people are like, why would that be the case? Well, I mean, you can make a statue out of anything. It's just the fact is now you brought it back to life. So, you know, they're dancing. It's great. Oh yeah, I got to show some other stuff here. So comparing the original version, 1991. So here is the Necromancer. It's kind of hard to see because he's like this dark blue plastic. It's kind of midnight blue. Actually, on camera, it looks black. But in the new version, it really is black. And so here's the Necromancer. So they preserved a lot of the same style. I mean, he's still got this bone breech clout. He's still got the skull in his hand. It's the other hand, though. Instead of the curved dagger, he's got the scythe. He doesn't have the decorative like headdress. But I mean, this is a very like Warhammer design, Warhammer fantasy design. So they couldn't just copy it, but they did, you know, the best job they could as far as like preserving the themes and style of the guy. So I appreciated that. You know, you get the nostalgia factor. It looks like the character. It reminds you of the character. And with the Storm Master, so there's the 91 Storm Master and the 2026 Storm Master. So they had his hair flap up a little bit more. The proportions are a bit different. The old Warhammer Fantasy, I mean, they didn't have the same level of technology for sculpting these miniatures like they do today, but big hands and big heads was the order of the day. And it was easier to paint too.
It still like blows me away that they still kept a good level of quality for everything. Despite all the changes, all the craziness between Hasbro and Avalon Hill in the last couple of years, it's it's great to see that like no matter what's going on with these um, current expansions, uh, that they have kept and or tried to improve
Hmm.
like the quality of life.
Yeah, and they've tried to preserve the integrity of the originals as well. I mean, as much as they can, like under IP law and everything.
Well, because
So yeah,
most of the time, most
prove best
businesses
can.
will just they they do like a throwback, or they do something weird like they would cheapen up the plastic, or
Hmm.
um, they try to find like a corner to cut, and
Yeah,
they'd be like, "Oh, do you remember this? We'll throw these dudes in. Do you remember these dudes?" And like, no, like
yeah.
they've tried to keep everything pretty good to the like faithful to the old stuff,
Hmm.
and they've also kept the same level of quality.
I don't
So
mind that.
you're still getting what you want for the price that it deserves.
Yep. And I don't mind that the plastic is bendy. Some people complain and say, well, the bendier plastic is harder to paint. But I mean, this is more durable. Like this falls on the ground and you step on it. The old one would have broken, right? This one
Right.
just you get the hot water and you put it back to normal. The other thing is if you're making modifications, I mean, it's much easier to cut this stuff and like, you know, change it up if you're doing that sort of
I
thing than the
also
old
think that if you're that
plastic.
serious, you can
Mhm.
probably make resin copies of these, can't you?
Yeah, people have done that, and I mean, Ribby was showing us his 3D scanner. Like he's got the little thing that spins around, and it records it on all sides to create a model. So yeah, there's people already doing that sort of thing. Because yeah, there's weird people like me who would like you would buy two copies, like one to just have it as is, and the other to paint it and modify it or whatever, 3D prints of it. So that's the comparison. Now there was one character that a lot of people were questioning, including myself. Oh yeah. Hey Bohemius, easier to 3D scan them. Yes. Yes. Yeah, because those molds take a lot of work. I've seen. This is the orc shaman, and it's kind of hard to see the detail here, um, just because it's such dark colored plastic. But he's basically got this like rattle. He's got this like kind of Santa outfit on. But this is what an orc shaman in Warhammer Fantasy circa 1991 looked like, right? And so it was
Right.
like, well, what is this character going to look like? So they said, oh yeah, Groshok, he's not even in the story. It's his daughter, and everybody's like, oh no, no, is this going to be the girl boss replacement for the classic character? Well, she actually kind of looks kind of good, as far as an orc lady with incense burner made out of skulls, and it's like, paint her up, and she could fit in. She's
Right.
just missing the hat. So I mean, they had to change some of this stuff so that it wasn't, too close to Warhammer Fantasy, but um, I think the level of detail is good.
That's very blurry.
Yeah, it is. Dang nabbit. Well, anyway, uh, Fairweather Man, he has like I'm sure he has like a DSLR or something. Like his close-ups are much better than mine, so check him out. But anyway, I think even though they had to change the character in this case, I think they did a great job. So, but actually, spoiler, this guy is still in the story. It's just that he's not the main focus. So he's still out there. You can have adventures with him. So,
Cool.
yep. And then when we get back into the other things that they've added, so this whole section is basically new stuff, except I'll show you. So in the original, you had these. These are cards, right? And there were little stands for them. So you would get the plastic wall base, and then you would just insert the card like that. And so it's like that's a firewall that somebody cast. It blocks the path, and you can destroy it. Well, in the new version, they just gave you a plastic. So this is the translucent plastic, and if you look carefully, you can see
That's nice.
it's like a face. It's like a fire elemental, like a creature made of fire.
Cool.
And the really cool thing is, of course, you know someone's going to do this, you can take your little LED balloon light and put it, in there to light it up like fire, like So that's a nice little feature. Because everybody was questioning, okay, what parts are going to be plastic, what parts are going to be cardboard. I mean, obviously this is going to be more expensive to produce, but you've got the ice wall. Once again, I mean, this could have been in the Frozen Horror, right? It's kind of got a little face in there. It's a cool idea. And then you got the stone wall. So yeah, here's the wall of ice and there's the wall of stone. But then you've got this guy. Oh, now it's in focus. What the heck? But yeah, it's not bad.
So, if anything, we've now made improvements on certain parts
Yes.
of the game. So that's very nice. Very nice.
These are more immersive. The 3D plastic has always been the higher level of immersion. Now these are the really goofy looking mimics. So a lot of people were questioning this. They're like, okay, D&D mimics don't belong in HeroQuest. But let's be honest, a lot of people homebrew the mimic. You're looking around for the treasure chest and you're like, oh yeah, it's just a little treasure chest. No, it's a mimic. But I will say, here's one that I painted. Like, this is usually what you think of, the big crazy tongue. This is pretty subdued. So for better or for worse, that's
it's still nice. Still think it's a nice test. Bohemia says the jester outfit for the orc spellcasters was heavily embedded in the GW lore. They are covered with jingling bells to alert other orcs of his presence, because heads around him tends to explode.
No, only the enemies. Wow. Yeah, I've read a little bit. I need to read it more. I have the Warhammer Fantasy books. I specifically got the core rule book from around the time HeroQuest had come out to try to see like what they were drawing on for inspiration. But I haven't read the entry on the Orc Shaman yet, so I'll relish enjoying that part. Thanks, Bohemius. We can also compare some other things. Well, I'll do that later. First, let's look at the plastic. So this character, this Minotaur, who's really hard to pull out of the box.
Taste the beast. Sorry.
Yeah. People were saying, oh, he's just like a happy little bison, he's going to snuggle with you. But this guy was not in the original. And a lot of people pointed out, so you look at the bottom of these other characters and it says Morcar on there. Can you see it?
Well, I wouldn't be able to see it.
Dang it. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, I can kind of see Morcar now.
Yeah, whereas with this one, it says Jungle. So this was originally with Jungles of Delthrak. So I guess there was some leftover material, and they're just like, okay, this guy doesn't fit in the other box. Let's just throw him in this one. So it's like, okay, cutting room floor. So maybe Encarmine
there's your Easter egg.
Maybe Encarmine was sitting there like, oh yeah, this Minotaur is great, and then he gets fired, and then they're like, it's just sitting there on the shelf, like,
He gets fired, and they're like, what?
Well,
find something to do with this.
Encarmine was still around with the company when Jungles of Delthrak was being worked on.
Yeah,
that was kind of the last one that he. I mean, as we've said before, it's not a one-man operation, so it's not like he did everything and then left, and then someone else took over. It's like it was always a collaborative thing. But you could say, like, yeah, he probably knew about the Minotaur. I believe.
Bohemius believes it's just a typo.
Well,
look, we like to get deep, Bohemius. There's a story behind it,
You're called you're what we call wrong.
What?
I mean, maybe. And look at this, Sir Ragnar. So one of the characters during the HasLab campaign, I mean, maybe he's right, I don't know. During the HasLab campaign, we got the Sir Ragnar prisoner character, which I might have sitting around here. Let me see if I've got him. Got him handy. It's like slowly but surely they're giving us all these characters that people wanted, except they've had to change them. They won't give us the exact character. It's like a variation of the character. So yeah, if you're a collector, you want every miniature that's ever come out, right? Every variation.
Everyone.
But if you just are like, well, I want, I want all of the beetles. I want all the village people. You know, you're gonna take what you can get. I don't have it in here. Darn it. Okay. Well, the one in the mythic set, he's holding the torch. He's looking kind of shabby, like he just crawled out of a jail cell. Well, here he is in all his glory. He's got his knightly outfit on. And you might be saying to yourself, wait a minute, Sir Ragnar, like we saved him in the original. And then in Rise of the Dreadmoon, all of a sudden he's a traitor. And you fight him and you bring him to justice. And that's the end of the story, right? Well, all of a sudden he's back. So what the heck's happening? Well, I won't spoil it. But let's just say, I mean, if you want a redemption story from him, you can have that. If you want to think he's still a bad guy, you can do that. I mean, they're giving you some options here. So
Brave Sir Ragnar ran away.
He's not afraid to be killed in nasty ways. Yeah. So I knew it was a mistake. Had to be a mistake. Yep. So yeah, so you got all kinds of tools to work with. And the original Wizards of Morcar, a lot of people said that about the set. They said, well, it's not that great of an expansion, but it's got a lot of potential. It's got a lot of toys to play with. It's a sandbox of ideas. And I think what they've done here is they've further developed those ideas to give you even more sandbox stuff, but also try to fix what's there so it's a little more interesting. Like they actually try to explain who Morcar is. And then Carmine was saying, like, I can't wait to drop that bomb on you. Because it's like, wait a minute, is Zargon and Morcar, are they the same person? Are they different characters? You know, what does it mean? And I read the spoiler of what Morcar is, and I thought to myself, well, a kid could have thought of this. Like an 8-year-old could have come up with this explanation. But it's like, but at least there's one there now in the story. So it's like people wanted to know, and they gave you the answer. So there you go. If you don't like it, you can always change it. We got quite a few cards in here. You can see it's a nice big stack. And they gave us the female wizard, and notice it's a variation on the male wizard, but she looks good. I think she looks better than the wizard that was in the mythic pack or the heroic pack. Bohemia says, yes, I love to get around and tell and listen to stories. Sometimes I just give the short version. Yeah. Well, in HeroQuest, I mean, you could say there's all this background to the world, but you're not talking about it while you're playing. As you know, 3,000 years ago, this stuff happened. It's like, no, you're playing the quest now, and it's like that stuff is kind of in the background.
It's a good story for your kids, though.
Depth. Yeah. Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there lived a wizard.
You are the wizard. You are the wizard. A learned and clever spellcaster.
Aye.
You faced evil with arcane prowess and have mastered many spells. Because you cannot use armor or large weapons, you are vulnerable to physical combat.
You are German. Now Dungeon Master is offended.
German.
First we offended Glasgow, so all the Scots have canceled. And then now we've offended Dungeon Master and all the Germans. They're quitting. So we're losing fans faster than we can. Yeah. We try. Accents are fun, though. We like to try. Yes. So yeah, got a good number of cards in there. So we can compare some of the art style changes from the original, because I've got the original. So
those original cards, though, I really like how they look.
Yeah. So there's the men-at-arms, and they're being all progressive and inclusive by calling them mercenaries. I kind of like men-at-arms, but anyway, they've got the big ostrich plumes, very very Warhammer.
Yeah.
And they don't have the helmet.
Although the new stuff does look good too. It's very good looking.
Yeah, like they're hanging out. Oh man, this is gonna be the best cosplay ever. We're gonna win.
The best cosplay ever. We're gonna go to the best. It's gonna be the best Comic-Con of ever.
Yep. I saw this video. It was Comic-Con speed dating, and they're all wearing their costumes, and they're like, going up there. Oh, hey, talking. It's great. Yep. So anyway, yeah. So as you can see, these are the poker size cards, and I was comparing them. So this is 2021. So, I mean, they seem the same thickness, same smoothness. They've got the linen finish, so I don't think any quality has dropped there. Oh, I got, man, AI arms. Oh man.
It's
Well,
pretty good.
you'll watch carefully. Yeah, because like, what are they sneaking something by us? Halberdier, scout, swordsman, swords person. No. Yeah, it's
Swords person.
yep. Crossbowman, crossbow woman. So you've got all your characters here, and you can see that the stats have been upgraded. So in the original, these mercenaries were a lot more fragile. Of course, they cost less gold too. So let's see. Oh, in this case, they're the same. Okay, so the scout was 50 gold. He only has 1 body point. Went up to 2. Still 2 mind points. Yeah, so the rest of the stats stayed about the same. Let's see. Halberdier. Okay, so he went up to 75 gold coins. But of course, he got the 2 body points. He can attack diagonally now. Believe it or not, in the original, they didn't say he could attack diagonally. A lot of people assumed he could because the weapon is longer, but officially, explicitly says so. And let's see, crossbowman. So here we've got a definite improvement. So, okay, still 75 gold, but attack dice are 3, whereas here he was at a disadvantage up close. It went down to 2. So up to 2 body points. So actually these stats that you're seeing here for the mercenaries are the same as the Frozen Horror. So if you mix the Frozen Horror characters in here, they fit right in. It's about the same. And when you think about it, the European, I mean, the original Wizards of Morcar was a European exclusive, so the monsters had 1 body point except for the bosses. So in transitioning over to the North American rules, which is what Avalon Hill is doing now, I mean, you've got your chaos or your dread warriors, your gargoyles, your mummies, and your abominations are have multiple body points. So already the quest difficulty increases. I mean, unless you start taking out monsters. So you want your mercenaries to also be stronger. Makes sense. And if they cost a little bit more gold, sometimes that's fine. Now in this expansion, you do get a massive discount when you rehire them. Your motivation to keep these guys alive rather than just using them as cannon fodder is they're only 10 gold coins to hire back if they survive. So, okay, so there's a big change there. So in the new version, it's 100 gold coins for the swordsman, 75 in the original. Body points go up to 2 again, 4 and 5 attack. And it's 5 movement instead of 4. So a little better movement, better body points, but at a increased cost. And there's 12 mercenaries. Now in the original Wizards of Morcar, you had the detachable weapons. So technically you could have some different combinations. I think it was 12 mercenaries and 24 weapons. So you could have different combinations. But then if you mix this with Frozen Horror, you could have the same number of combinations. They secretly steal the loot. Yeah, that you could have all kinds of storylines with that. Absolutely. So let's compare some of the other assets. So in the new version, you've got the new monsters. You've got the Minotaur. So he's got like this gore attack. And it talks about him being incapacitated, which people were like, monsters are never incapacitated. They're either dead or they're alive. But people were saying, well, maybe it means like if he's under a sleep spell or a tempest spell, like he can't move, so therefore he can't use the gore attack. You got the golem, so he's an undead. So pretty decent, pretty powerful. Similar to a gargoyle, but this is a summoned monster, so the artificer can summon that. Now, people made fun of the fact that it's called a dread shifter. It's like, you could have called it a mimic. You own Dungeons and Dragons, Hasbro. You didn't have to make up a new name, but they did. And there you've got the familiar goofy venom tongue. And you've got the stats there. So, yeah. They did make a special rule because a lot of people play it this way. in HeroQuest, you don't have to walk up to a treasure chest to search it. You don't have to be right next to it. You can just search anywhere in the room and you find the stuff. Well, in this expansion, they specifically say, no, these are reinforced chests. So you got to be like right next to it. And the great thing about that is as soon as you move next to it to try to search, well, before you have a chance to do that, it transforms into the mimic and attacks you. So it's a nice ambush tactic. So it keeps people guessing. It's like, okay, when is the treasure chest not going to be a mimic? Or
So
when is the
question
door
there.
not going to be a mimic?
Question there.
Yeah.
Why not when you just search the room, can you just say, oh, you found a treasure chest, but it turns out to be a mimic? Bam.
Yeah, you could do that. But I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things that people do. Like with a door, you got to walk up to the door to open it. So
Yeah.
that's what's going to trigger the monster. But if you're suspecting that, you're going to be like, okay, I'm close to the door, but I'm not up next to it yet. I'm going to search for traps. Like, is there anything wrong with this door? Like that's what I would start doing. And the same thing with the chest. I'd be like, okay, the last time it was a mimic, so let's search for traps here. Now, if there's already monsters in the room, you can't search until the monsters are cleaned out. But yeah, someone's going to get greedy, walk up to the chest, and try to grab the treasure. Now, in the original game, it was competitive, so the heroes could attack each other. You could steal stuff from each other. You could cast spells against each other. So I could imagine, yeah, you want to be the first one to grab the treasure.
Was it
You wanna be-
particularly a co-op sort of situation?
Well, you got a bunch of 10-year-old boys playing, and they're like, yeah, trying to outmaneuver each other instead of no, we got to work together. We're not going to survive.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
So if you played it according to the old rules, you could have some more interesting situations potentially. Let's look at some of the art that we've got here. Okay, so we've got the different sorcerers have their own cards. So each of them has like 6 cards. This is the original version. So you've got your high mage spells, you got your necromancer spells, you got your storm master spells, you got your orc shaman spells. So, and that's a handy paint guide too if you want to make your character look like that. But if we compare, so this is the new version of the storm master. So pretty similar.
Very similar.
Style.
Very similar.
Although they made a little mistake there. Spell. Oops.
Oops.
But yeah, so lightning, thieving wind. I mean, we were looking at the spells. Most of the spells, they've kept them the same. Occasionally they have changed them or added a little bit more detail just to clarify what's there. And actually, we've already talked to Doug Hopkins about this, and there's a few spells where it doesn't actually say that, but he's like, no, this was our intention. So whenever the spell says to summon a monster, the idea is the monster appears on the board and the monster can move and attack immediately. Like it doesn't have to wait till the next turn. I've been playing it the opposite. I'm like, well, if it doesn't say that, then he doesn't do that. So the monster just appears. He's just a body shield to protect the bad guy that summoned him. Whereas Doug's saying, no, it's more fun if they just can attack right away, and that's how we intended it to be played. Whether it says that on the card or not, it's like, okay, fair enough. Because of course you always got that tension between like playing the game the way it was intended and just playing it the way you think is the most fun. The rule of cool.
I like that. The rule of cool.
Yeah, it's a D&D thing, but I love it. The rule of cool. So this is the orc shaman from the original, and this is the warcaster. So occasionally they change the names. It's like, oh, is the term shaman like politically incorrect? Is that why they changed it? Like we lost the chieftain, it's now the commander. So I don't know. Maybe somebody on the Hasbro board said, you got to change it. Okay, fine. But pretty cool artwork, I gotta say. And then when you look at this particular spells, so let's see, trying to compare them here. Okay, so you got the Spirit of Vengeance and you got the Spirit of Vengeance. So very similar idea. Basically, it's an evil version of the genie that the bad guy can use to maybe snuff out one of those pesky mercenaries. So you can see very similar styles. so everything's preserved. But they have summon orcs was the original, and the new version is call orcs. And here's what we're talking about. So they may move and attack immediately unless they've already done so on this turn. So, but that's Doug saying, well, regardless of what it says, you can do it. So yeah, that sort of thing. But yeah, it's the call goblins. So maybe that's a telephone. You know, she gets out her cell phone and she's like,
Hello?
hey goblins.
I think it's more like you like shout, but that is pretty comical. Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
Need some goblins here. Yep.
Emergency
So then we
goblins.
got we got it's cheap for you and it's free for you and cheap for them. You know, 1-800 call ORK. Yeah. So we got the spells of the necromancer here. Raise the dead, summon. They kept summon mummy. It's not call mummy. Call my mummy. Get some laughs in the UK. Death bolt. Call skeletons. Still call the skeletons.
So why is it call skeletons, not summoned? Because it says it summons up to 2 skeletons.
Yeah, I don't know. Somebody just decided.
I feel
But
like
see there,
somebody was
say,
like that's weird because like you're summoning those. You're summoning the undead.
Yeah. Sounds cooler.
I think yeah. Well, just call some skeletons. Call.
Hey, how's it going, skeleton? You feeling pretty bony today? Good. Good. Getting your calcium.
I'm raising Mr. Bones' wild ride. Please call some skeletons for me.
Oh man. Well, anyway, you got them. So yeah, so they didn't add any new spells. They renamed a couple, they tweaked a few, but they're all here. They're all here now. How are you? And so we've got the High Mage. And once again, he's got the lightning, even though he doesn't actually have lightning. But the thing that I like is it would be really easy. If the heroes are just blazing through these guys and not having a lot of trouble, you could very easily just grab some of the spells from one of the other boxes and just give them a couple extra. Like, why not? Give them a lightning spell, sure. Yeah. So you got Possess. I think they called it Madness. So I don't know. Maybe somebody in the mental health community was like, maybe don't call it that. Like, okay. Or they thought maybe we'll
call it Madness.
Yeah.
I don't like it when you call it Madness.
Here's HeroQuest. Okay, we still got Rust, so it's a different version of Rust. It's not effective against artifacts. It's against metal. Now, if you're Zargon, you can argue there's some metal. Well, maybe that staff has some metal in it, you know? Maybe that crossbow has some metal components. So it just destroys what I darn well say it destroys.
That's right.
The original, it didn't say. It just said equipment. Your piece of equipment is destroyed. So it's like, well, it's a leather bag. Well, that leather bag is toast, dude. Like, okay. And there's the Wall of Flame. You can summon that cool 3D thing. Bohemia says, Warcaster is a nice change for me because create a new branch of the lore to expand. Druids and Shamans are too similar in concept. That way they can make a hero Warcaster. Oh, even a hero Warcaster. Yeah. Well, the idea that you have different classes of magician. They're not all just sorcerers or warlocks or whatever. But I still, if I were nostalgic about this pack, because I didn't even know it existed until the 2000s, but if I were nostalgic about it, I'd be like, where's my shaman? Like, he's a shaman, okay? Just
give me my shaman. I want some shaman.
Yep. Don't squeeze the shaman. Okay. You got spells. If anybody remembers that. Spells of protection. So you've got, these are the hero spells. So they take turns. The female wizard versus the male wizard on some of these card backs.
Hey, real quick, Kurgan. I know you still got some card stuff going. We are at our first real hour almost. Mister, I didn't think I was going to do the full power hour. See, you always do it, and I always have faith in you. I always have faith you're going to pull it off.
Believe in me. You believe in me.
I would like to take a quick break if that's okay with you, and we can still continue.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because I could probably go on with this for sure, but I'm
really
liking.
Still continue if you'd like.
Yeah.
This is nice.
Oh yeah, I might be able to finish this part. But yeah, thanks for keeping me on task here.
You're good, man.
Yeah. So we got the Spells of Darkness. So again, we trade off. Female wizard looking pretty dope there.
I like the pain
So
look in the old one. He looks like he's in pain.
he's like, I can't believe I'm channeling so much power. It's too much power.
Give me some
Yeah.
aspirin. Ah!
Although this kind of, I mean, this is like, it's like a shadow, whereas here it's just light or smoke or something. So I don't know.
They
It
both
looks
look
cool,
good,
but
and they're both like relative to each other, which is nice. Like I said, I like how they
yeah,
kept the similarities.
yeah. So, but you got the male wizard and the detection spells. Um, yeah. So, but they gave him a stylish goatee.
And not a
Kind of looks like
mischievous grin. Like he still looks like devious, but that other one just looks creepy. He looks real creepy.
he's like, I have the power in my hands. He's like, yeah, I'm Joe Manganiello, and I
I'm
made this.
Joe
Coming back.
Manganiello.
If you've seen him, yeah, it's some of his roles where he's got the wig on. It kind of makes you think.
And I made this expansion. Yeehaw.
Yo, Magic Mike. It's real magic this time. Yep.
That's
Yep.
pretty good.
Yep. Okay, but then we've got this brand new character. And at first I thought, I was looking at the model of the Artificer, and I'm like, she just looks like she just came off the runway at the fashion show, and they said she's a villain. I mean, she's supposed to be like one of the most evil like characters ever. I don't see it. She's Barbie with a Mega Man cannon. Although this is actually a scroll, but we all thought it was like an arm cannon. So the hand is actually holding it down there. Well, anyway, in the artwork, okay, she looks a little crazy, a little evil. That's fine.
Yeah, sure.
Once you paint her up, she can look dastardly.
She looks like a Warcraft character a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, you can definitely see the influence of some other games. But yeah, she's got the big hammer, and she's got the scroll, and so some new things. So a lot of us had speculated about let's say, the religious landscape of HeroQuest, because in the classic version you had the Chaos Gods, like they're hovering around, like giving power to these sorcerers. Well, now we've got the Dread Powers. What are they? But if you're trying to bring some of that old lore back, here's your chance. So, Spells of Morcar. Interesting. Like, what are these creatures? What's going on here? So if you want to, it doesn't tell you that it has to be anything, but if you want to start weaving in your own headcanon of lore of like what all this stuff means, what are the powers and factions, in the ethereal plane of HeroQuest, you can start doing that. Kind of
Okay.
sparks your imagination. So I got the Hammer of Ruin. So these are all brand new because this character didn't exist in the original. Leech Life. This is one of the first ones we saw. So a whole new character to use. A lot of people were wondering, is this a character that like the heroes can use? No, she's evil. But you want to be inspired, you want to create a heroic version of this character, why not? You could do it for any of these characters. You could have a high mage that's a good guy. You could have maybe not a necromancer, I don't know. Yeah, he's a necromancer for the good side, Summon the Dread Shifter. So you got that. And then you've got the treasure cards. Now, a lot of people were excited about this, and you wonder what is wrong with these HeroQuest fans. Like, they're completely nuts. Well, I don't know. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like Avalon Hill, Hasbro, we asked them for something, and they gave us nothing. Look at that. You open the box, nothing in there. I've got nothing in my hands right here. And that's because this was one of the classic, like in the original treasure deck from 1989, they had this card, which is just a guy shrugging, you found nothing. It's like neither good nor bad, it's just kind of a joke. Well, a lot of people have a lot of nostalgia for this, and people were asking for this, including myself, because I thought it was funny. Well, anyway, now we've got it. So they gave us nothing. Just what we
Make
wanted.
multiple copies of that card, just throw it in your deck.
Yep. It's like, oh, you found nothing again. It seems like this dungeon's been cleared out. Maybe some other heroes came in before you. Sorry. Sorry. But they've got all the classic ones. So the magical traps, I originally thought they were going to cut some of these out. It's like, these are kind of boring. Poison. But it's like, nope, they made sure they put everything in there. Potion of alchemy. In the original, you couldn't sell stuff back to the armory for half price. So it was like, this is the only way you could get extra gold. You could turn some pieces of equipment you never use anymore into 100 gold. Well, you've got it. So now you can turn that dagger into gold. Got their potion of charm. So you can hire some more mercenaries at a cheaper price. So look how happy he is. He's like, hey, you guys want to work for me, right? You don't need a lot of money. Doing it for the lulz. Got the magic resistance. Now they did make some slight changes here and there, but if you want to play it like the way the originals were, it's pretty easy. But here are the original treasure cards. So comparing the artwork again, different style, same basic idea. So you had your poison, of course, and they always show the mercenary taking it, but it's like the mercenaries don't search for treasure, so you don't have to worry about those guys. You got your potion of charm. It's like, how you doing? Magic resistance. Potion of alchemy again. Magical trap. Magic resistance. Magical aptitude. Bohemius likes that one. Yep. So everything was preserved. Everything was retained. Same basic stuff. I appreciate that. Attention to detail. Now they did add some new things. So these artifacts did not exist in the original because artifacts were a North American thing, and this was a European pack, so there's no artifacts. So they made the Drake hide cuirass. Can't be used by the wizard, but it's not metal, so it can't be destroyed by rust. Of course, it's an artifact, so it really can't be destroyed. But you've got this this hammer, so similar to the one that the artificer has, except this is going to be better for destroying those creatures that she creates. So you got those two. Then they gave you this brand new mechanic, the boons of heroism. So a lot of people had requested this idea of visiting towns in between quests. And yeah, you could always use your imagination and say, well, maybe that armory is in a town, a village somewhere, but that's what this is. So between quests, your heroes are going to visit these various places, and you really can only choose one location. Later on, you can choose two, but you have to earn the right. So there's been lots of speculation about this, but yeah, you've got the sharpshooter's archery range. There's all kinds of Easter eggs here too. I mean, wandering monster. That's Doug Hopkins's handle. Hopkins Keep. Doug Hopkins. I mean, really. So you got all this stuff, but yeah, you could just let your imagination run wild with this. You got a cathedral. Oh, there's the religion coming back into the game. If you want it there. The Dewdrop Inn. I mean, come on. Training barracks. So I thought this was great. And, you just want some artwork. There's the cover image on the other side. It's nice and sturdy. But yeah, these cards go with it. So there's a whole chart in the book. I'll show you. Again, this is a feature that people requested. So I think that just shows they're listening and paying attention to desires of fans. And, you don't like it, but you want to do your own version of it that you think you can improve on. I mean, go for it. So there it is, and then it explains. So this is what this does, and they give you some little lore there that you can read out. Keep your darn eyes open. You'd be surprised how often I have to say that. Whippersnappers. You got all your stuff there. So it tells you what to take. And I mean, you could create your own. You could expand this. I can imagine kids, they would draw like another one. It's like, oh, there's Waldo. You got it all. But yeah, you've got these different cards. So there's Deadeye. So that's a nice little buff. And that's what these really are. It's like you're going off on a quest. You're like, okay, well, we want our crossbowmen to be better. So we'll give them this one. Got the weapon expert. Okay, we can do that. We got the healing hands, so we need some healers. Maybe you don't have a hero that has a healing spell, so you can do that, or you won't need an extra one. And the nice thing about this is somebody dies next to you. Well, it's already too late to save them. But in this case, you can save them, because normally you have to die with a potion in your hand or with a healing spell unused to survive. And focus. Okay, each time a monster in Zargon's turn moves away. So this, a lot of people requested this too. You know, it's the person retreating, and you get to attack them as they're retreating. So, yep. And so there's the bounties for monsters. That's something that I wanted, and there it is. So keep track of your kills. So lots of stuff that wasn't in the original, but people requested, and they fulfilled that request. And then real quick, this is at the end here. So just comparing some of the assets. So this is the original magical reference chart. I mean, the font's a little easier to read. It's not as fancy looking, but it gives you like a rule reference. And you flip it over. Okay, the original was just a scroll. The new one has a new room that you can use. So nice little added value there. These purple tokens are actually spell counters, so you can keep track of like how many turns the spell lasts for. I always appreciate that, because as Zargon, I got enough stuff to keep track of, and like forgetting like, okay, is this the second turn or the third turn? And all this excitement, I kind of lost track myself, you know. So you got the Cloak of Shadows tile, and then there's the new version of it. And all these skull tiles, of course, you're going to need for all these monsters. The lightning bolt and the earthquake tile. So there were the originals. So they gave it a little more realism, a little less cartoony maybe. But those spell effects. The key wasn't there in the original. This this heart wasn't in the original. Neither was this, whatever they call it, this reliquary or whatever it is. And these, I thought these were pits of darkness, but these are actually tunnels. Although if you want to use them as pits of darkness, you could very easily. And you got the fireburst, trap tiles. And this will be the last part of our power hour here as we show you the comparison. So there's the original fireburst and the breached walls and the rubble. Of course, there's already a rubble tile in HeroQuest. So, I mean, this is just a regular wall. This is rubble. But I mean, if you just wanted more of those, you could just dig them out of the game system and use them. So there's a lot of versatility there. And the other easy thing is, I mean, the original quests are online. So if you want to play the quests the way they were in 1991, you could easily do so. And the booklet gives you the option. It just says, yeah, you want to skip the new stuff and just play the classic quests, play it the way it was in the original. It's really easy. You just play it in this order, and there you go. So it gives you that versatility. Just like against the Ogre Horde, they said you don't like the arena battles, you can just skip them. Just go right to the quest that you want to play. And it's like, yeah, that's how the game should be played. So that's Wizards of Morcar, and I really think it'll be something special.
Well, you definitely met the quality control aspect too, so that's really good.
Yeah, yeah. Sure.
I think personally that, like I said before, Avalon Hill never fails to impress when it comes to releasing a any part of HeroQuest merchandise or product so far.
Yeah.
And this is a verification of that. So
they're always trying. They're always trying.
Holding up to like accountability or quality control standards, they're either meeting or exceeding expectations, at least in our opinion.
Yeah.
And that's from the stuff that I currently have to what Kurgan has to what we can compare with the originals as of the prior expansions. So it's really nice to know that there is a company out there, and I'm not saying that there aren't other board game companies out there that probably aren't doing it, but there is a company out there that at least tries to impress or meet quality standards with their current audience, and that's nice.
Yeah.
And now I can also understand a lot of the time while some fans are disappointed with Hasbro, they still go out there and donate or contribute some money to HeroQuest anyway, because at the end of the day, I'm just gonna say it. At the end of the day, they like the product, and the product does deliver. So until that changes, I am gonna say go ahead, man. Like let it fly, because like I said, as long as Avalon Hill gets that freedom to do what they need to do to deliver a quality product, while keeping, I guess, within Hasbro's good graces, they should be fine. So yeah, good job, guys.
Great job. Yeah, shout out to Doug, Tess, Rob, Patrick, all the other unsung people on the team that did their best they could. I mean, there has been some speculation among us that there was maybe a last minute rewrite a lot of the stuff, and maybe that's why some of the little mistakes crept in.
Yeah.
But I definitely think they pulled out all the stops. There is definitely a balancing act. They're walking a tightrope between preserving the original and improving it and adding new stuff. That feels like it fits.
But still,
and there's always going to be people who say, like, well, you didn't change it enough. You could have improved it a little bit more. You could have added a little bit more stuff. But
within that boundary, though, I think they still be a good quality aspect. So if there's a personal improvement that you have, go ahead and submit it to Avalon Hill. See if they'll take it into that consideration. As far as a critique goes, though, whether or not it's going to affect your quality of life when you put down and play it, if you pull crap out of the box and it breaks within 6 months, or if you have problems painting it, or if you have problems dealing with it as opposed to your previous expansions, I don't see any problem here. And that's what we're looking at. Whether or not you subjectively like it or not is the point of the quality control segment. And like that's what I'm trying to get there, is if you think it could be better, great. We respect that, and that goes to Avalon Hill. That's what I factor in, is it looks like they're taking that consideration and they're trying to improve that experience. And while they can't take everybody's opinion, they can take the stuff that factors in from the group, because I've said this before and not a lot of people believe me. If a big chunk of people believe in one thing and they stake their claim and they have that voice, most of the time it does make a change.
It does.
And I think that this kind of shows that. It's nothing huge, it's just a board game, but there's probably one guy in there that submits a change that says, I wish the druid has bigger breasts or something. Something stupid. Like, no offense, but like something just outlandish, and they like pull that out and they go, well, can we even do that? And they're like, no. they're like no, we're not allocating resources to this. And like they're like, well, or maybe Doug Hopkins looks at it and goes, yeah, this looks like it's a little outlandish, but if we get more of it, maybe we can talk about, I don't know, adding an extra figure in here or something, and like that's. Yes, that's what I'm saying, is like it's one of those things where the community is huge. It's big enough. It's not outlandishly wide, but it's big enough to where that voice makes a difference. So, shout out to Doug Hopkins and to everybody who is with Avalon Hill, or as everybody who hasn't been but has worked on these projects. We salute you and we respect you for your work. You guys do a great job. I'm going to
Avalon Bill.
Yes. I'm going to go ahead and vouch for a break here because I have to use the restroom. But I'm going to vouch for a quick break, grab some coffee, freshen up, and then we'll go ahead and move on to our next topics. Unless Kurgan has anything more, then we'll finish it up after the break.
Well, after a lot of people saw this and we're like, wait, that's all we get? Really? Like, this was definitely, I think, this restored a lot of people's faith. I mean, if you really love Joe Manganiello and you wanted the dragon, this was perfect.
Well, this was like $35 though, right?
Yeah, $34. But yeah, I mean, this was a bargain bin price compared to this. This is like the deluxe, pull
Most
out all the stops.
expansions are like $50 though, aren't they?
For HeroQuest, they've been either 35 or 45. So
Okay, so that was kind of like you were kind of wondering like, whoa, why?
is this worth
Like,
it? Yeah,
where are the
yeah.
figures? Like, you just get a big old dragon. I mean, I still kind of like it. I still want to grab myself a copy of it, like, because I am kind of a fan of
And
Joe Manganiello. So
yeah, and look at that art. I mean, it's totally different, but it is kind of cool.
yeah,
People were saying, well, it doesn't fit with the regular aesthetic, but
no,
I
but
mean,
I think that's the whole point.
not
It's like
perfect.
you want
Something
something
different,
that stands out, then go
wild.
ahead and use it. So.
Yeah.
But it's not everybody's cup of tea, and that's the
Oh
point.
yeah.
It's not everybody's cup of tea. So,
These were in the
I
game system, so if you're missing out on these, just grab some of these. It works. Yep.
I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back. Don't go away. There's more rantcasts to come. Stick around, guys.
Just yeah.
That's right. Oh yeah, no, my BRB thing. I'm gonna just use my BRB. No, I'll just do
Right.
this.
We just gotta have our own BRB.
That's right. And we're back. Welcome back to the Rantcast Podcast, everybody. Go ahead and bring my screen back up here. In the time we were gone, I managed to make some pizza. I'm just kidding. I got some pizza. Let me bring Kurgan back on here. Alright. We're back on, Kurgan.
Cast.
That's right. Managed to make
Alright.
some pizza, some coffee. I'm ready to go.
It's a cheat day. He's never eaten this combination of foods before, but he can enjoy
Never.
it.
Never had In-N-Out Burger before. Never.
Gonna pee in a water bottle if you don't mind.
Nope.
You'll empty that for me.
This feels refreshing. Ooh. I have increased my eating quite a lot, but I've also been working more. I noticed that when I do more heavy lifting, I'm like a lot more hungry. So.
Yeah, lifting big heavy things. I've been doing a lot more walking, although last couple days I haven't really done anything, but I need to get back into it. Walking's good. Lifting's good too.
Yeah. Exercising great. I don't do it, so I couldn't tell you.
I'll let you know.
I do walk a lot, but I mean, I usually set a standard calorie burn of like 400 calories a day. That kind of helps. But starting to get a little chunky in this area.
Yeah, counting calories actually does make a big difference. I've lost a few pounds, but yeah, I'm not one of these people that's like, oh yeah, your New Year's resolution's got to be, if you've broken it by January 15th, you've failed. It's like, yeah, just start again. Just try, come up with a realistic goal. If that doesn't
Indeed.
work, come up with another one. I mean, I need to take my own advice sometimes, but there it is.
So, are we good? Or are you ready to move on? Or do you have any more last
Ooh,
minute rankings?
I got a little bit more HeroQuest for you.
Okay,
You can
go ahead
take
and drop that off. I'm ready. I'm good, man. I've got coffee and pizza.
Yep.
So
Nice. Okay, so if you can see my screen there, this was a gift from Steve and Ben. So Maitreya and Durfin Steve, these guys are Mercantile. So these are the guys that originally sent me that 3D printed, fully magnetized, full color Dragon's Rest HeroQuest board, like the oversized board. Now, if any of you saw our Gen Con videos and you saw that awesome 3D printed and hand painted board that Ribby set up that we were playing with, that's the same model. Okay. But his was all gray and he painted it by hand, which took forever, but he did an awesome job. Mine, they just printed it in color. So you've got your 3D printer, you can set different colors for different surfaces, and it kind of gives you a sort of a cartoony kind of comic book look, which I really like. Well, anyway, those guys sent me that free of charge. I ran it on a stream. Like, thanks a lot, guys. They haven't gone into business yet, but if you go to the HeroQuest fans Discord, you can just see they've filled like an entire like garage with 3D printed stuff. So they've got like multi-layer, like multi-floor, like castles and outdoor areas with grass, and it's just amazing what they've done, and it's all in the HeroQuest style, so it looks like it fits with the classic HeroQuest. So you guys have probably seen these characters that I've been using on the various streams, and those are from Mercantile. So those guys they didn't create the models, but they've 3D printed them and sent them to me. So, whoops, let me get that on camera actually. So like there's the elf. You know, it's kind of hard to see the details in his face, but I mean, you see all the colors, basic colors, and of course these are Ribby's remarkable rims to designate the colors. So you got the wizard there. So anyway, those are some really cool demos that they gave me for free. But then they sent me these new ones, and actually these are like hot off the press. So we've got these, and I mean I could use these on stream very easily. So you got your crossbow orcs, various colors. Detail's pretty good, and these are not resin. These are not painted. These are color. So it's pretty cool. I think they did a much better job than Hero Forge. I mean, I spent $45 on a Hero Forge figure that was color printed. Didn't look anywhere near this good. So we got these other.
Oh, there's dye?
It's just different colors of filament. So it'd just be
Okay.
like gray, 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 green, 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 gray, 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 brown, gray. It just switches colors. Yeah. And at, table viewing distance, it looks like it's painted. So, I mean, and you could add, like, you could get a wash and throw it on there to add even more. You could highlight some of the things to make it a little better if you wanted, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good. This is obviously, these are kit bashes. I mean, they've obviously taken the classic orc and given him, a cape and some different weapons and an eye patch. I think it's really fun. Pretty good. I mean, 3D printers have come a long way. And I have a couple of versions of this model. This is a Famir, like witch, hag, whatever, sorceress, and it's just got color instead of just being monochromatic. The staff tends to break. It's pretty small. But these are the ones that I really like. Okay, so we've got a female cleric or healer. Could be a female wizard as well. Cool character there. My niece would really love to play with that character, I can tell you. And then we got this guy. Now, is this Mentor? Is this Zargon? Is this
Zargon.
Morcar? Yeah. So now we're talking. Get him on the board. It's like, it says here in this book, rocks fall, you all die. Yes. So you are dead. And you're dead. So anyway, thanks. This was a really awesome gift. I know they have some other things, and I probably shouldn't say what they are that they're working on, but I'm sure you'll see pictures of those pretty soon. And yeah, it's really awesome. That's Kurgan's mini. Yeah, that's me right there. He just needs the Uncle Zargon T-shirt and the HeroQuest championship belts, and the dad bod.
Uncle Zargon wants you.
Yep, that's right. But yeah, you could throw the.
We'll make an actual Uncle Zargon mini.
That would be fantastic.
Like, it'll be you in a computer chair. Or like a mic.
Yeah.
And
The headset
like
on.
The fluffy beard.
Yep.
And the glasses, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yep. Can of pop. Off camera.
Like some Mountain Dew.
Yep. Cheers and Dead Gamer. He always had the bottle of beer on his videos. I can't be drinking the hard stuff. I gotta drink the soda water, the fizzy lifting drinks.
All right.
You other streamers out there, you got your own guidelines. So anyway, that's what I got. So ready to move on to the next.
All right, Kurgan, would you kindly bring up for me the a link for the Kathleen Kennedy post? Anything, possibly. You said you had one link, but it was like speculative.
Very speculative. So if you go to your favorite search engine and you type in Kathleen Kennedy news, you're going to get dozens of articles.
Yeah.
And they're all going to be saying pretty much the same thing, which is supposedly Disney is getting ready to soon announce that Kathleen Kennedy is finally, after all these years...
Perfect. Just keep the picture right there. Perfect.
Stepping down.
No. We don't need the article. Just keep that. That's fine.
It's a screen rant, yeah.
Because it's all speculative. So yeah, the picture comes from Screen Rant, but this is perfect. So it has been in the works for a little bit, but it's still just talk. Star Wars Theory also released a video, of course, with this little clickbaity crap. The stuff that pisses me off about him, because I like his fan fiction stuff, I like his regular stuff, but then he releases this in droves, this line of, please tell the video, please go down and show the actual article, because this guy does great stuff, but then it's she's leaving.
He's leaving, yeah.
Because I fall for it. I'm like, oh fuck, she is? Is this an announcement? And it's not. And then you get his theory sabers plastered all over that. And like, the guy's got to make a buck, right? I'm not dissing on him on that one, but like, he makes a lot of his money on the clickbait stuff. So once again, would love to still talk to the guy, still respect the guy as far as it goes, but he collects a crowd of people from this shit, and it's very disheartening. It's very disheartening because I've seen his his Comic-Con stuff. Like when he goes to Comic-Con, he'll hand that shit out for free. Yeah, that's his trademark hat too. He's gone through all that. Like I said, I enjoy the guy when he goes, like, he's given out a bunch of his products for free. He has talked to a bunch of people. I just think this guy has like this personal issue with the YouTube algorithm. I also think he has some underlying issues that he needs to deal with. But besides that, I think he's a great guy. I don't know what else to say on that. I have a love-hate relationship with this dude because he does really good stuff. He does really cool projects, and he tries to get the original stuff like restored. Like he has his own fan fiction thing that he's doing with like the Heir to the Empire trilogy and stuff. But then every time I go to click on his stuff, he's like, it's all like random clickbait, and it drives me absolutely nuts. And the guy,
the
like,
game is played.
yes, and like I said, I can't completely fault him for that. But then I think he like tried to reveal his like statistics and how much he makes on YouTube, so it wasn't like a big deal. But like, dude, you drive like an S-type car, like a racing class car, and you own your own personal theater to watch Star Wars in, like, in his house. It's his house or something. I remember like he like was posting on it. He was like, "Yeah, I'm in my theater. I was just finishing up episode 3. It's such a great film, man." He's like sitting there with his laptop, and like it's in like those theaters where like, you know, like actors have those type. Yeah, they have like their own personal home theater. I don't know if he rented it. I don't know if it was actually his house, but every time I see him like post a vlog or something, he's either in his car or something like that, and people are like, "Yeah, dude." And he's like, "Yeah, what's up, man?" You're like, you're really nice, but like, I'm like, dude, you are loaded.
He's trying too hard to be a working class man when he's...
The difference between you and me is like so far away. Like so far away. You know, but I mean, I probably come off as a grifter at the end of the day. But he's a cool guy as far as like, you just gotta sift through his bullshit. So if you're a Star Wars fan and you're really looking for something that's not Disney, I'd still recommend his channel. He does we have to shout him out if we're gonna do that. But if you do recommend his stuff, I do recommend his stuff. But yeah, go through his channel. He has a dozen fan fiction. So if like, you don't even have to look at him. Like, you can just listen to him. He has like stuff that he'll write out, and stuff. But yeah, they call him out. What was it? Red Letter Media called him Star Wars Man.
Star Wars Man. Sorry,
yes.
Star Wars Man.
Sorry, Star Wars Man. Yeah, no,
That'd be
for
great.
real. Sorry, Star Wars, man. It feels like I'm dissing you because I do I like you. I'm not a huge fan of your audience, but like I said, I have a love hate relationship with you, bro. Like there's some I have critiques on you, but besides that, I mean everybody should have a critique on everybody. Like they're always
We can
always
all
making
do better.
improvements, but he probably does other things on his business and stuff that probably makes him money. I shouldn't probably hate on him too much, but at the end of the day, yes, he really rides that YouTube algorithm really hard. And I think
Yep.
if you believe in stuff here, and he's a Star Wars fan, there are so many ways to make money rather than doing the shitty, yeah. But yeah, but
Yeah, you're just-
everybody loves him so much that it doesn't even matter what I say. So,
Right.
and I'm not saying that he's not a good guy. I'm just saying that yeah, I find it irritating because people ride that algorithm like it's nobody's business. Like they have it's like they have no choice, and you always have a choice. Like I'm gonna use that movie thing. You always have a choice. You always have a choice.
Yep.
So,
Sorry, Star Wars
but
man.
yeah, sorry, Star Wars fan. But yes, to go back to it, there is a lot of talk that Kathleen Kennedy is finally stepping down, and I'm not saying this is gonna make Star Wars better. Might make Star Wars worse. This that we're looking at is from Screen Rant, but we don't know when. There's no date, right?
Right.
We're
Well,
not talking
some of
about a
these.
date.
So, Puck News is what they're quoting, and it's behind a paywall. But a lot of
Yeah,
these
fuck
sites
that
are
shit.
saying. I know a lot of the sites are saying the same thing. They're saying in a week's time, supposedly Disney is about to announce that they think Dave Filoni is going to replace Kathleen Kennedy as chief creative officer for Star Wars.
You mean the ass kiss? Because that's what he's been lately.
Official?
He's the guy who's been in control. I think of him and Dave Favreau, but Dave Filoni's been the quality control guy, if
Jon
I remember
Favreau
right.
and Dave Filoni.
No,
Yeah, I
Dave
get the
Filoni
name.
is the main quality control guy. He's the guy who let the Acolyte go through.
Oh.
So that's what Star Wars Man was talking about earlier when he was fighting about people with the Acolyte, like talking about how you know,
Oh, Filoni was involved on King of the Hill. I didn't know that.
yeah. I like Dave Filoni as a career artist. Like he's very dedicated to his work. He's very involved when he does stuff. I didn't mind Kathleen Kennedy at one point in time. I just think
Yeah.
she became more of a businesswoman than an actual artist. And I think when you're in that position, you really do have to manage both. And I feel like she couldn't do her job. You start making excuses for why you can't do something and why you need to make the money. And I've done it before in my business many times. Like, I don't want to keep this many contractors on. I don't want to have to go this way when I'm doing cable management. You find more ways to cut corners or make excuses to the press, and it's a stressful job. I'm going to try. Like I said, I wanted to look up the positives on this, but at the end of the day, I think she should have stepped down a long time ago. I really do. I think Lucas should have found a better person. This has all been a money ploy since the beginning, since 2012. Lucas thought he'd be getting a better deal selling this off to Disney. By Bob Iger fucked him in the rear. Pardon my French, by giving him a bunch of bullshit, and it's it all revolved around money. I mean, Star Wars is a big franchise, and we all as people probably should have seen this coming. As soon as we started hating on Lucas, like that, it's a big franchise. It's a loved franchise, and as soon as nerds started getting popular in the mid to late aughts, with the culture clash, the Marvel movies and shit. We should have just saw that Star Wars was going to get grabbed and picked up, and now it's becoming an oversaturated, soupy mess. And there are people in my age, a little bit older, a little bit younger Disney adults that love the shit out of this series. And it's not really going to change because it's making a steady amount of income. Yes, Disney's probably not going to throw giant chunks of money at it, but they can still make series, they can still make other stuff. I started watching the Clone Wars again because I'm getting into my Star Wars-a-thon. I'm doing those mini episodes, or I'm doing the episode list because I'm not going to watch the whole fucking series. But, and then I'll probably watch Andor Season 2 finally after, a year? So, but like, you know, I don't know if I'm going to be that person to rewatch Kenobi a million times, or you gotta watch Ahsoka, man. Yeah, I love watching the deadpan version of Ahsoka. Like,
arms folded across the chest, staring straight forward.
There was a guy who recreated the scene on Clone Wars where Ahsoka leaves the Jedi Order, and she was like, because she was like tearing up and stuff, and they're like, they used AI to graft it so that it was like her, like a younger version of her. It was like they like made it real instead of the CGI, and then it had Anakin, like, you know, actual Hayden Christensen. So they were walking, and like, because of the AI animation, they were all stiff and shit. But like, so they were already robotic looking. But like, even her face is like not there. Like, you could just, there's something about, I can't remember the actress. I loved her in Clerks 2. She was great in every other movie. She can do emotion. So
Rosario Dawson.
Yes, Rosario Dawson. So I can't tell why she didn't put as much into that character. Like, I feel like I would be the last person to defend Ahsoka as a character because I fucking hated her when this first started happening. Like, the first Clone Wars movie, I was like, Anakin did not have a Padawan. This all seems really out of fucking character for everybody.
Who the fuck thought of this? Him less annoying. Yeah.
Well, but then as you look into it, it really does flesh out Episode 3 a lot more, and it makes Episode 2 a lot more bearable. Well, yeah, because it helps ground Anakin as a character a little bit more. Because yes, he's still irrational. He's still kind of a dickhead. He's still all over the place. But then he's got that counterbalance, that Padawan that does the same shit he does, and then he's like, "Oh, this is why I'm being stupid." Or, "I probably shouldn't be like this. I need to be able to tell her why it's wrong." Or they'll do the same stupid shit together, and it'll work. But like, there's still a lesson to be learned from it. And that series did kind of, I don't know if it taught kids like important life lessons, but it did carry something with it. Like, there was always a quote at the beginning of the show. There was always like something at the end of the show that helped with like some form of life lesson, even though you didn't catch it all the way because it's Star Wars. I mean, there's nothing traditionally real. But at the end of that, going into the newer Clone Wars season where they wrapped everything up, where it like blends in with Episode 3, it really does do a good job. And I think that's where Dave Filoni really, as far as Star Wars goes, I think that's where he mastered it. I think that's where he excelled. And he doesn't have to keep doing it. He could go into a different series in animation. I'm saying that like because we don't have to milk the same cow over and over again, is what I'm trying to say, is the fact that he found something good for about a decade, and it was a passion project, not just a paycheck. And it may eventually have became a paycheck, kind of like with Kathleen Kennedy. But that's the thing is you could tell, like, whoever he was working with, because it's not just Dave Filoni. Dave Filoni didn't just make the Clone Wars. It was him, his team, the animators, all that stuff. It all blended together perfectly, and it works. And there is that, and then you'll compare like something like Rebels or something, where it's good.
Oh yeah.
But it's not as good. There are people who like it. There are fans of it. But I would, if I had to pick or choose between the two, I mean, I bet Filoni had a hand in that too. But that's what I'm saying is like, Filoni in '08 to 2012, and now there's probably two different versions of him right now. And now he has his hand in like 12 different projects. And Favreau had his hand in so many different projects that, of course, quality is going to dip. So.
Well, we had that old talk about, these two guys are going to be the savior of Star Wars. Well, as we can see, that's not the case.
No.
No matter how talented they might be, they have their limitations, clearly.
They tell me at work, and I've learned this throughout a job, a workhorse never gets fully appreciated. You can become the workhorse, you might stand out, hell, you might even get a small raise. But at the end of the day, you're still going to be exhausted, overworked, beaten to the ground, and not appreciated enough for your efforts. And that's what a workhorse is. There's always going to be somebody else who stands out, probably above you, that's not doing all the work you're doing. And I feel like Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau were those two people. They were the workhorses. They were noticed by the crowd, right? We noticed them for their work. But I bet you half the people inside of Lucasfilm were like, yeah, they're doing great work. Keep it up. In fact, here, you guys are doing so good. Everybody's noticing. We're going to throw more at you. Just think of all the money you'll make. But they were like teasing other things on top of everybody else. And then as soon as the quality dipped, they're no longer appreciated. So, and that's the thing is like, I still appreciate the fact that they did all that, but the season 3 of The Mandalorian was not great. It was not great at all. It had so many holes. It was very lackluster. Yeah. It was very lackluster, and like I said, you could only milk the same cow so much, like so fast. You're gonna start hurting the cow. Probably not gonna get a whole lot of milk. And like I said, The Mandalorian stood out, and everybody was like, "Oh, The Mandalorian's so good! Oh, Luke Skywalker at the end of the season! Oh!" And then, like at that point,
well, Mr. Bill action there.
Yeah. And then, they probably pressured him. And on top of the other Star Wars projects they were doing, that bridge finally just started to cave, or at least started to buckle. I don't doubt these two guys' ability to perform, but they are human beings. I mean, and if they decided to take it on, well, I'm going to say, in the words of Han Solo, you're throwing away a fortune, don't be a fool. I mean, take what you want to take, but also don't be a fool in the fact that you are a human being. You can't do everything. So, you can't do everything all at once. Yep. But, I mean, families probably got ignored. Personal lives probably took a dive. A lot of things were probably the talk of that. But getting back to my original topic here, Kathleen Kennedy, I believe, if I remember right, she manages a lot of the stuff. So, if you think those two guys are getting a lot of flack or they're getting busy, she's probably on top of it, probably even busier. And the big thing though is while you're doing press conferences stating how female the Force is, and talking about how great these new projects are going to be, and you're probably not even watching them. That's the thing that gets me the most is, you are probably not even watching these things to completion. You don't have that time. I don't think you have the time, effort, or capabilities without a full-on team to watch as much content as they're pumping out right now. Because if I had the time to rewatch the same series over and over and over again, I would need a week or more. So, just straight, even if it was my job. And even then, I'd use my iPad, I'd have to take notes, I'd be up all night. It'd be bad. And like I said, everybody else would would have to take a back seat to this job.
Yeah,
So
that's the dark side of it.
I don't think that she did it as efficiently as it was needed, and I think Disney required a lot from them. So while we don't like Kathleen Kennedy because she doubled down in a lot of places where I don't think she needed to, I think it was her time probably to step down and let either somebody younger, and not being a bias here, it's not a bias, but maybe a different face, because Lucas gave her those keys and she has clearly shown that she wanted nothing but money from those keys. I mean, even if you're a fan of Disney and you like the current Star Wars now, can you tell me with current sincerity that Kennedy had anything to do with those without just hitting in a stamp that said approved on it, like Lucas did? Because Lucas would approve everything, right? And eventually, yes, he just started saying, things still had to go through him and make sure they were timeline accurate, because it was his story, right? It was his thing to make. Yes, and he was a baby when it came to it. I don't think Kennedy gave it the same treatment. When he passed that torch down, at the end of the day, Disney owns it, but you are in control of the narrative. And
there was one story that is often talked about. So Solo lost money, as they all say.
Yes, it was rewritten from the ground up.
Yeah, so she fired the guys who were writing the more comedic version, so we hear, and then got Ron Howard in there to do it. And so it ended up being one of the more expensive Star Wars movies, despite the fact that it was just kind of like a side story in between distraction while we're waiting for Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
I don't know how that turned out. But yeah, if people talk about what did Kathleen Kennedy actually do besides announce projects that didn't happen or antagonize people online, well, that's where she really got her hands into it, and people thought, yeah, I don't know.
I'm more talking about before, because she was Lucas's assistant, right? She was his assistant. Yeah. She was his quality, his QA guy a lot of the time. And she worked under him for years. Yeah. So this was a position where you earned it. She earned it. She spent the time in and earned it. Yeah. The thing is I don't think you could work in a position at an office for 30 years. Are you still ready for the position that's given to you?
Yeah, you might be promoted to your lowest level of competence. It's possible,
and
right?
I think if the people aren't ready for you, because at the end of the day, you're the face of the company. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to say this, but people have to be able to like the face of the company. If you're not a likable face, then the company really don't got much when you walk out the door. So if they don't like you and you're being hostile to people, you should probably find a different face of the company. Instead of doubling down and saying, well, this face is the proper face, and then what it says is good for
face off.
Yes.
Oh.
So I mean, I feel like have your beliefs, have your motives, have everything else, but like I said, if you really wanted to care about Star Wars making a profit and it being a popular genre or staying a popular genre, and bring your diversity, bring your inclusion, do all that stuff, because at the end of the day, times are changing, and it doesn't matter what we do on that front, right? Or whether people like it or not, but you can still make good stories, and that's what I was talking about before with Star Wars Theory. Was he always brought up these good topics of at the end of the day, I just want good Star Wars. I just want good stories. I want good stories written. I could give a shit less about people's personal politics. If you want to bring that stuff in, I personally don't like it when real world politics are in here. But if you want to bring in the inclusion angle or whatever, because you feel it makes a difference, because we are now in a time and place where you feel like it's getting attacked, that's the whole point of the prequels and the sequels, where they all had a small hint of whatever was going on at the time thrown in there. But the end of the day, don't make it the main focus of the story. Don't ham hock your entire fucking story in there and call it art. I mean,
even Lucas didn't do that. As opinionated as he was, he still had some restraint. He still held back a lot of stuff. I mean, occasionally
the politics part was pretty hefty in the prequels.
In the prequels, yeah. But I mean, that's the part that people like paid the least amount of attention to. They're like, yeah, this boring stuff in the Senate. Oh God, now let's get to the war. Let's get to the lightsaber fights.
Yeah.
Like they forgave that because the rest of the movie was pretty good. I mean, I didn't hate the prequels like a lot of people did. Yeah, Episode 1 maybe had the most missteps for sure, but yeah, there was enough good stuff that didn't matter. But if the rest of your movie or show is mediocre, well, then you're going to start to lose me. Because then it's like, okay, you've made the politics and the ideology, and the virtue signaling, like, that's the main course. And it's like, oh, shoot.
I still haven't watched The Acolyte. I still never will. It's I've gotten many different people, both people who've liked it and disliked it. I've gotten the overviews on YouTube, just to see if I'm missing something or somebody else has been biased enough to not include something. It's all been the same. It's been the same, or relatively the same. It's like somebody who's liked it has talked about like the emotions of certain characters, or why this guy did this for this reason, and how it affects their mental health or whatever, like that. And like at the end of it, I don't care.
Where's our end of the day counter?
Ding! Like
But yeah,
that's what I don't like is that's a personal preference.
Whenever you say the Acolyte, all the scenes that people had problems with like fly through my mind, like the power of one, the power of two, the power of many.
Yeah.
The guy coming out of the
fact
water,
that
checking out his junk. It's like,
what's her face who plays Trinity? Like, got fucking. Yeah. She's on the trailer. She's on the thing. She has like 2 minutes of screen time.
She say like I'm doing this for my grandkids or
I don't fucking know. I haven't watched it. I just know that she has like 2 minutes of screen time.
She's like, I'm so happy to be able to do this so that they can see me, and they really want to see me in something. It's like, yeah, then she gets killed right away.
Yeah, and she dies, and like
she appears in a flashback later, but yeah, too little, too late.
But it totally defeats the purpose of what the Jedi stood for. And the Clone Wars even depict a corrupt Jedi at one point in time. They did it way better than she did. Yeah. Like, there was a Jedi who hated clones, and I think it was in episode 5 of Rookies, I believe it was. Who, like, there's a Jedi who hated clones. He came down to help the clones out, to retake this planet, and the dude would, like, abuse the crap out of him, or just leave him to die, because he didn't think they had, like, souls or some crap like that. It was a really, like, deep episode. And eventually, I think Ahsoka or somebody, I can't remember, some of the Jedi found out about it. But, like, I feel like they wrote this script, or she got high one day. Yeah, it's the Four Hands Jedi, yeah. And they smoked it up and they said, what if Jedi were bad?
Yeah.
And, like, her co-star was like, oh, dude. Yeah. Like, corrupt? Like the government? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we could make so much money off of this.
Oh yeah, it's so good.
And like, because, Kennedy's so inclusive, she was like, oh, this'll pop. This'll just pop. We don't need to know anymore. Don't tell me anymore. You said all the hit words, all the buzzwords, because they had that buzzword board. You hit all the buzzwords, you're green lighted. And like that was it. So the Acolyte became a thing, and that was how that happened. And she had like a whole thing for season 2 and everything like that, and done. So
sad.
Yes, very sad, very disappointing, very unfortunate. You can go back to making Sex in the City or whatever the fuck rom-coms you like to make. I don't care. Get out of this area. This is not your wheelhouse.
It's like you didn't want to make Star Wars. You wanted to make something else. But you
and
had
that's
Star
fine.
Wars in your hands.
That
like,
is
all right.
fine. you know what? You want to make a story about corrupt warriors or war crimes or whatever the fuck? I'm down for that. In fact,
Zack Snyder made Rebel Moon.
you know,
you can too.
yeah. So if you want to make something like that, go ahead, do it. But it doesn't fit in Star Wars.
No. Stay away from us.
You want to do corrupt politics and government? There's an era in Star Wars for that. There are things you can do for that.
Mm-hmm.
But like it feels like when I'm saying that, it feels like I'm telling them what to do, and then, like maybe they get their panties in a bunch, and they're like, "You can't tell me what part of Star Wars I gotta make." I mean, I'm not telling you. It's already written.
I'm telling you what I'll pay for.
And that's what I'll pay for, yeah. I mean, if you want to turn everybody into a fucking Care Bear, that's up to you. But, like, I'm not going to watch it.
Care Bear stare. Here it comes.
Yep.
Hasbro loves the Care Bears, right?
Oh, there was that new Transformers movie, and they do the same thing like Disney and Marvel, where they flash into different shapes. It's like Peppa Pig and everything else. It's like Hasbro. I'm like, come on, man. Just put Hasbro on the screen. They need an extra 4 seconds of logo. Like, that... I, like, physically got ill. Like, sick to my stomach. Like, I need, like, 30 seconds of logos before my fucking movie.
Yep. Gotta
like, yes, I already know. I already know who you are. I already know who made the movie. Thanks. I'm like... that's another thing, is, like, I love... when I go to a movie and there's 45 seconds of logos, to the point to where I almost feel like I want to walk out.
Okay. Yeah, it's like how many companies and sub companies and yeah.
Or I'm watching a streaming service and I have to fast forward through them because I cannot fucking stare at them anymore.
Yeah.
Product placement everywhere.
We had 20th Century Fox, we had Lucasfilm. It's like, okay, that's two,
I mean,
that's enough.
That's fine, right? But that's before we were covered in advertisements. Now I can't look left or take a shit without having to see one. Like, it's so irritable. It's so irritable. And they want to add more. They just want to, they want to cover me in ads. And if, they think people are tolerable of that. We're getting way off topic. We're way off topic. That should be a Rantcast thing.
He's crying. He's just like, yeah, I can't take it anymore either.
No.
I know I shouldn't, but I want more.
I want more. Give me more ads. Sports betting. Anyway.
NFTs.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, my parents and I were trying to watch a movie, and it was just like all the sports betting ads. It's like, shut up.
Dude, you can bet you can bet on anything nowadays. You want to bet if I drop this cup of coffee or not? They'll let you do it.
Yep. I'll do it. I'm ready.
Like when you do DraftKings or something, it's like bet on what color Kool-Aid they're gonna dump on the players. Bet on if the fucking quarterback will sneeze in the fourth quarter. Like you can bet on the temperature. You can bet on the coin toss. It's scummy as shit. It's awful.
Scratch the left cheek or the right cheek. Place your bets.
And it all gets pooled in. I don't understand how it's a viable thing. Like people always have their vices, right? We all have vices. I get that, but they're legitimately. And I come from a job that does this. Like I can understand walking into a casino and hitting a button and thinking you're gonna win money because it actually feeds you. It drip feeds you something. And I guess they do the same thing in sports betting. But there's literally more. Like when I look at it, there's more of there's no sense you're getting any money back when you do that. Like you can look at it and physically be told there's no sense. But there's such a thing as the gambler's code where it's if you quit, you've lost the win that you're gonna have the next time. Like the big win. You were one spin away from winning big or some shit.
Superstition, yeah.
Yeah, and it's hard because I've seen so many people lose to that stuff, and it's becoming we're almost worse than Australia is when it comes to gambling. But nobody will do anything about that either because it's
We had a
They're
whole
so
episode on it.
there's like a philanthropy thing going around with that. They hide behind philanthropy. Yeah. I should probably watch what I say. I'm gonna get mafia'd around here.
Yeah. No Pinkertons.
Yeah, no Pinkertons.
Yeah,
But
but we did have a gambling episode. I think it was called One Arm Bandit. I forget what episode number it was, but yeah, we talked about a lot of that stuff. Super interesting.
it's
Did a lot of
very
perspective
interesting.
on it.
It's very scary too. It's very scary
But yeah.
because it's blowing up here in the States like big time. Like,
It's like
I know
when you-
Australia's had it for
when
a
you-
while, but yeah.
It's like when you turn 21 and you don't know how to handle alcohol. and
Oh,
it's
dude.
everywhere.
Even kids are getting into it. Like kids, college kids, everything. It's becoming a nationwide epidemic.
What was that celebrity? He had to like tell his son no because he wanted money for sports betting or something.
I don't know.
Just some throwaway article. Clickbait.
It's a lot. There's a lot of like stuff like that. Like people will lose thousands of
Yeah,
dollars.
I need money because I didn't want a sports bet.
It's the same thing as like gambling on Genshin Impact and shit like that too. Like people in China and shit like that like lose like $20,000 because their wife fucking played Genshin Impact or their husband played something like that and they just fucking gambled away their life savings, or they not gambled it, but they spent it all on like loot boxes and shit.
Yeah.
And you're coming home from a long day at work and you have a fucking final notice on your door because your spouse pretty much just drained everything you own on a video game. That's even worse.
Yep.
But yeah, I once again getting way off topic. But yeah, we don't have a date on Kennedy's like final day, or if she really is stepping down. This could be another. She's been talking about this for like a year now, and
Yep.
you know the money
Yeah.
might just be too good,
Yeah.
or she
Look
might
at
have
Silver
fucking
Day.
milked the cow so bad now it's like crying for help, and she now no longer has anything to milk.
Yep.
So the next person who takes her position, you have a mess to clean up, dude.
Yep.
Or dudette, whoever the fuck you are. Yeah. I mean, or you could just keep doing what she's doing, and you're gonna get paid either way. So, whoa, it's a
Whoa.
meception right now. What are you doing?
I'm just gonna let this ride out for a second.
I keep going either way. Keep going either way. As you just see the distance, I'm still moving.
Yeah, it's Neo
Woo!
in the second Matrix movie.
Yeah.
Do the wave. There he goes. Oh man, it's going down the line. It's going down the line. We've officially lost it. Okay, all the people on Spotify have no idea. We're
Nope.
looking. We're doing the Hall of
You have to
Mirrors
pay on the
effect.
Patreon to see the wave me.
Somebody clip that out. Oh man, Game Boy.
Oh, don't stop! Don't stop. We're doing something cool here.
We're doing it. It's starting to curve around. It's like the video wall. He's doing the wave. StrangeBus is doing the wave into infinity. So stupid. But it's.
I feel like
fake,
I'm 5
though.
again in the infinite, like the infinite mirror.
I'm losing
Yeah.
it. Oh, this is great. We've turned a corner on the Rantcast podcast. Conga line. Da, 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 da.
I'm still waving back there too. All right.
That's amazing. Oh, for fun.
Yes, for so much fun.
Yep.
But yeah, anyway, I think our final topic that we're going to talk about, once get the Inception out of here. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Okay.
There we go.
There we are.
Is I would like to talk about a certain great action hero of mine. You might recognize him from a good clip. Hey, can you roll a 3-second clip
Yeah.
Right in the cave.
Oh yeah. Forgot about that.
But you might know him from a certain movie. You know, Welcome to the Party, Pal.
Go to the party, pal.
He's got it.
Yeah, are you sending me a clip? I'm not really
No,
sure.
you might have to clip it. Hold on. I can probably get it. Grab it. Hold on.
Alright.
Give me like 2 seconds. I'll open up Firefox. I'll do it myself.
Do it live. Do it live.
Cause I want to. I want to do it. I want to do it. No. We only want a certain. We only want a certain number. We only want a certain number of seconds. So, because we can't show you everything. From this film here.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Yeah, there you go.
No
That's all I can show you.
No audio jungle.
If you could catch that before everything went fucking haywire. But yeah, so
Hey, Mr. Falcon.
yeah, that came from the movie Die Hard. My actor that I'm referring to is Bruce Willis, who in the last about 7 years, has had a really weird career. I was watching about 3 years ago. I was watching Red Letter Media, and they mentioned it, and I was like, "Yeah, I haven't noticed that. I haven't noticed him around, and he has been shooting out a lot of direct-to-video movies lately. I like that direct-to-streaming nonsense. So unfortunately, it has come to it that he's an old man. He's getting up there. He has been diagnosed with aphasia and frontal temporal lobe dementia, I believe is what it's called. Which means for like the last 6 years, he was slowly deteriorating, getting worse, but insisted on working still before they had a diagnosis. So he got kind of taken advantage of by Hollywood, and the people he was signing contracts with were giving him earpieces to feed him lines because he would forget where he was. Yeah, they would do voiceovers for him, but he'd get paid like $2 million to be somewhere for a couple days. He'd film a really shitty movie, leave, be done. He was in the process, from what I read, of doing a last Die Hard movie back in like 2016. They were in the talks of it. He started getting really weird around 2018, 2019. Like, he couldn't perform on his own. And it wasn't like bad around that time. It was just like a little weird. Like, he would... there was like an interview around that time too where he talked about a movie he was in, and he did a really weird interview with somebody where he was like, I don't know if any other actors told you this, but this isn't acting what I'm doing right now. Like, he got like kind of rude, and people thought it was like a little off-putting because he's not usually rude in an interview. So yeah, he kind of got a little weird. And I think the producers for the movie decided to pull out while it was in the pre-production, like before they actually started shooting and doing anything, because they noticed he might have had a health decline. And then there was a guy who does like these geezer teasers, the third-party films, stuff like that, started pulling him alongside, saying that because like nobody else would take him at this point. So like. I think Robert De Niro does these now, which is sad, but you get Robert De Niro, you get Steven Seagal, and they're kind of like direct-to-video, like, nonsense films where, like, the actor's in there for a couple minutes, and they get sent over to, like, other countries, like third-world countries. Most of the time, they make a fuck ton of money because they mostly go to this producer guy who's, like, a big piece of shit, and then, because he uses these actors because they're old, but they're name brands. They're like household names. And it's
Oh,
like,
so
hey,
kind of
look,
like what?
check it out, it's Bruce Willis. And then like at the end, he's only in there for like he's got like a total of 7 minutes of screen time throughout the whole movie.
Kind of like Ed Wood. Ed Wood
Yeah,
putting Bela Lugosi in a movie, and he's like barely in there.
yeah. So, but they're not
Fine.
like famous producers or anything. These are like knockoff studios. So,
Kind of sleazy.
he did a couple of these. He did a bunch of these. Like he did 8 films in 1 year. That's how like fast food these movies were. Because he shot for like 2 days most of the time, and he was able to leave because they didn't need him anymore.
He's got a lot of film credits, that's for sure.
Yeah, so you could probably name them if you saw them on IMDb. They usually have like ratings like 2.5. They're really fucking bad. And he just started getting like really declining. So I wanted to bring it up as a topic because a lot of people have like these like it gets into the parasocial department where a lot of us have these weird relationships with actors, actresses, streamers, people of high value. Like a lot of people think they know who people are. Is my thing falling off? I need to get that adjusted. I just noticed that on camera. A lot of people think they know who somebody is, or you have your fanatics who just love an actor so much that they can't do any wrong. I have respect for Bruce Willis. I don't know Bruce Willis on an emotional level. That guy could have been a huge dickhead behind or off camera. As far as I know, he was a caring family man, and I had respect for that. That's about it. And that, like, you know, he managed his acting time and his regular time wisely. It's what he told people on the cameras. It's how he handled himself when he brought himself on the film. He didn't really care about anything else. He did his job. He told interviewers how, like, what he thought. He carried himself a certain way. It's not like when, like, you got, like, bigger actors back then, like, you know, like Stallone or something, when they came dressed up, or they always had like this aura about them, like they wanted to be the center of attention. He didn't usually bring that a lot of the time. And even like you were talking about with Moonlighting, when he won those Academy Awards, he really didn't like, he cared, but he still brought himself to the table. He didn't bring another version of himself to the table. He wasn't giddy or laughing or all that other shit. Like, he smiled, he told people how it was, and he moved on. So when you see this version of him, if you ever check out the links, it's really different, and it kind of brings awareness to people about the dangers of what happens sometimes when people get old, dementia, Alzheimer's, even things like aphasia where you have trouble speaking or forming thoughts. It sucks because my wife's
elder abuse even.
Yes, my wife's grandfather went through dementia before his passing. It wasn't super bad, but it was, you could tell, and it is like a small version of hell on earth. There's things you can't remember how to do. You forget things a lot more frequently than normal. Your personality takes a vast dip because you have these mini strokes up here, back here where your temporal lobes are. It gets really bad. You might forget the easiest things, like somebody with Alzheimer's. I was in an interview with somebody who was talking about their mom had Alzheimer's, and they were saying it goes from things like this to where, you know, they're at a care center and they're asking their son, hey, I need that spoon right here. Can you hand me that spoon? And it goes to, hey, hand me that silver thing right over there. And then it just goes to, hey, hand me that thing over there. Because they don't know what it is anymore. They know they need it, but they don't know what it is. And there was like, it goes to the same thing. There was a producer who was talking about Bruce's health. I wish I had the articles up. I don't, but it's just, right now it's just awareness for me. He was talking about how he stopped working with him and would not until he wanted him to be better. And this is before he got diagnosed. But Bruce looked at him and said, I know why you're here, and I know why you're here, but why am I here? And that's alarming. So, there were people in Hollywood that cared about him enough to not have him keep working and look bad. But there are some people that didn't, so much to the point to where they shot him in a couple scenes and then voiced over his voice because he couldn't remember his lines. Or couldn't remember where he was supposed to be. So it's sad. It's very sad, and it's a very common thing. But according the silver lining here is because he's a rich man. He has had a career. He's well taken care of right now at a home. He's at a care facility. That it almost looks like a house. Like it's like he's got a backyard and everything. He's just well looked after. He's got full-time care. His family, I guess, comes to see him pretty frequently. So it's got a more happier ending. I guess he's not very well aware of his condition, so I don't know how they're dealing with that. Like, hey, you're just going to the hospital to be looked at for a little bit. Like, I don't know how they're treating that, but yeah, I mean, it's hard. I can't say even for celebrities it would be any easier. Even with all that money, a lot of people would say, "Oh yeah, they've got all that money, they'll be fine." But I bet you those care facilities are in the tens of millions of dollars, especially those nice ones. So I can tell you out of experience, some care facilities that we've had to look at were just the bare minimum could have cost you $500,000
Wow.
in total over the year. So
Yeah.
it's not cheap, even for bare minimum. Like, here's a room, here's your 3 square meals, here's some rec activities. Let's make sure you're just taken care of enough to keep you clean and taken care of. So, and it can be financially draining and life-changing for some people. And if they can't afford it, then a lot of caregivers are mentally stressed or destroyed, and some pass away earlier before that person does because of the living conditions. So it is hard. So just bring up awareness for this. But if you haven't checked out
Gene Hackman's wife, right?
Yes. If you haven't checked out Bruce Willis's movies, I would start with Die Hard.
Yep.
I just watched it this Christmas, and I'll probably be watching the rest of them shortly because he is a pretty good actor. He is a household name, and he is a self-made man. He didn't come from money. So, kind of like Harrison
12
Ford.
Monkeys is another. Yeah.
Huh?
12 Monkeys is another good one.
Yes.
Sixth Sense, Unbreakable.
Unbreakable's good.
Yep.
So, he has had a list of movies. I can't really name any of them that are bad. Fifth Element's really good, too.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Right.
yeah. All I think of when I think of Fifth Element is, oh, you have a letter in the mail. Your luck is changing. You are fired.
Multipass. There's a lot of just random lines. Anybody else want to negotiate?
I am a meat popsicle.
Oh, man.
So, yeah. So
Without
it's
the
good
context,
stuff.
Funnier, yeah.
But yeah, it's really good. Really good movie. I would check out his work if you're not familiar with a lot of it. He's a good guy. And I wish him the best going forward as far as his care. Because if anybody's earned it, it's him. So, yeah, that's all I got.
Good to Mr. Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
Yep. Pulp Fiction also. Smaller role, but
Yeah,
that was
he
about
played,
the time of his. That was his comeback, wasn't it?
from what? It was 95.
Oh. Yeah.
So probably about the same year as The Fifth Element, I think.
Oh, so it really wasn't. Yeah, maybe I'm thinking of John Travolta. Yeah.
What was Travolta's comeback?
I think that was Pulp Fiction.
Really?
Yeah. If I remember correctly, it was like I mean, it's been so long since I thought about it, but yeah, it was like, oh, this actor, he's
Wasn't
kind of.
he in Look Who's Talking?
I don't remember, but it was just like,
Because that
oh,
was him and Kirstie Alley, wasn't it?
I never saw it. You never saw him.
Travolta's comeback was Hairspray. Hey, King, what's up, man?
Oh,
Travolta's had a long career, dude.
remake. He's had a lot of comebacks. Yeah, the remake, but I mean, I don't know. Yeah, you could probably look it up, but it just like he was in that movie, and then all of a sudden he like had all these like higher profile roles.
Oh
That
yeah.
he hadn't had for a while. Because Saturday Night Fever was in Greece. Like he was a big guy back then, like early '80s. But yeah, it's like okay, he started to drift away, and then it's like oh, then he had a big comeback. He was in a lot of crappy movies too, but like Battlefield Earth. But I mean, he was in Face Off.
Yeah.
He was in was it Phenomenon?
That was a '90s movie.
Yeah.
So I don't know, to be honest with you, because Travolta's kind of been active throughout the '70s to the '90s.
Yeah. Yep. Face Off. Now there's a movie.
He was in Wild Hogs.
Oh yeah, I never saw that one, but it's on my list.
Really?
Yeah.
It was Tim Allen, John Travolta, and what's that guy's name? Who's in Jurassic Park 3?
Sam Neill.
The guy with the mustache and the parted hair.
Oh.
He was in Mystery Men.
Not Ben
He
Stiller.
played the construction worker.
Oh.
The guy with the shovel. Hold on.
Oh dang it! Not Steve Buscemi. William H Macy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he played the nerdy one.
Yep. This is Fargo.
Oh, he was in Fargo, huh? Shit.
Yep.
That's an underrated actor. If you guys want to talk actors, fucking William H. Macy did some shit.
Yep.
Yeah, I wonder how old he is now. He's probably older than shit now.
This episode of the Rantcast is sponsored by Cheesy Pizza. It's so
And
cheesy.
People that are older than shit. Sorry. Let's see. He's born in the 50s. Holy crap. Yeah.
See, it's working.
Do
King
you
wants pizza.
want some, bud? Got some for you.
Oh, this is a little
it's
interactive,
just-
like hand the pizza to the screen. Here, is that good? A little ASMR pizza.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh.
so good.
Yeah, he's in his 70s now, I think. Yeah,
he was in Blade Runner as well.
Really?
Remember? Yeah. Remember, he's the guy with the disease that makes him age more.
Oh yeah.
Because he always kind of had an old look to his face.
What was the show on Showtime? He was in that show on Showtime too. Hold on.
Sure which one?
Shameless.
Okay.
It was from 2011 to he played Frank Gallagher. He was in the remake of Shameless with Frank. He it's from 2011 to 2021. Yeah, he had a huge range. So I think he did good.
Yep. A lot of good actors out there. A lot of underrated
And
actors.
he's still doing stuff. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4. He's got 4 movies right now. The Running Man. Oh, these might be direct to video though. They all
Oh, the new Running Man. Yeah, it does.
Frontier Crucible.
Mixed reactions.
It's got 4.6. It's a Western, though. It looks like the guy looks like a rip-off of Clint Eastwood. The Running Man, yeah.
I don't know if you can do
Wait,
it
is that a
justice
remake
without
of The Running Man?
Well, yes and no. So Stephen King wrote the original under a pseudonym. And yeah, the Arnold Schwarzenegger version is the one we all know.
Oh my god.
And this one's supposedly more true to the book. But yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Oh my god. It's got David Zayas, who's in Dexter.
But I hope it is enough room
It's
for my
a it's a fucking Batista. And who else is in it? I just saw him.
Ooh.
Sean Hayes from Will and Grace. I just saw him. Why isn't he showing up on the credits? All cast and crew. I mean, all cast and crew, because I just saw him. I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Jesse Ventura was in the original.
There's like some big names in here, though. Oh, well, William H. Macy's going to be in it, too. That's right. We were just looking up all of his shit. Yeah, but it doesn't look like he's going to have a major role.
Well, let the buyer beware, I guess.
Yeah, Michael Cera's in it. That's it. Brandon Burke. A lot of fucking people are going to be in this movie. Yeah, but they're going to get fucking killed, too. I wonder when this is coming out. Yeah, Train Dreams, Soul on Fire, Accused. He was in Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, which I never saw. But damn, dude. Yeah, he's had a pretty good career.
William H. Macy.
Yep. Well, that's all I've got for Rantcast. I was just going to talk actors after this. Just acting. That's it. We've been going for 3 hours, 11 minutes.
Dang. It's good.
I mean, probably about 2.5 hours, not counting the half an hour of intro time. But still, not bad.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us, everybody.
Yeah.
Just.
I'm going to play probably a half an hour or an hour of Where Winds Meet, so I might be doing a stream. If anybody wants to play with me, that game is free to play. So.
Wow. I think I'm probably going to just pass out, but you guys have fun. Yep.
But.
Well, tell us more about this game. What kind of game is this?
It's just a free to play game. You'll have to play it to know what it is.
No one can tell you what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself.
That's right.
It's a prison for your mind, Neo.
Oh.
Yes.
It keeps cutting you off, man. Ass.
Ooh, that rabbit.
All right. Well, with that, we'll go ahead and sign off. I will probably hop on here shortly, depending on if anybody wants to join me. But thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful night. Take care of yourselves and each other, and I'll catch you on the next Rantcast.
Yep. XSC3, home of HeroQuest fans. TheStrangeBus. Check us out on YouTube. Check us out on Twitch. Check us out on Spotify, the RantCast.
Check us out everywhere.
Check us out.
And nowhere.
Yep.
That's right.
All right.
Later, everybody.
Bye. Good night.